What is up, guys? Welcome back into All About Profit, a podcast me and Austin started where it's kind of like a live podcast and we just sit here and hang out. Feel free to ask any questions or anything. Today's episode is actually really cool. We're going to be talking about our stories and how we came up in our different reselling businesses that we both run. So we're literally just going to start from the beginning. I was texting Austin before this. We're going to go from when we both gained consciousness all the way through today. But no, we're just going to go through like what made both of our businesses successful, some tips and things like that. But again, feel free to comment any questions or anything down below. And we really appreciate everyone for watching.
Yeah, I'm super stoked for this one. We were texting about this beforehand and just sharing the stories. I get super excited about Adam's story. Like I tell Adam's story probably more than he does. And it's just something that, I feel like before we met and then during us meeting at college and whatnot, and then even thereafter, like we've been able to motivate each other so much, and it's just helped us push each other even further in our businesses and our certain niches. So
Niche.
yeah, our niches. But yeah, this is like the coolest thing. This is the coolest thing ever for me to be able to ask you questions about how it started and like get us to share everything with everyone. I'm super stoked for this one. But yeah, like Adam said, feel free to chime in at any point in time, ask questions. We're open books. I'm ready to share it all.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So before we hop into our complete backstories, he mentioned we met each other in college. What was that, like sophomore year, I think, at Ohio State?
yeah, because my schedule was so messed up. I took a gap year from high school, so I took a year off and worked full time. And then after that, I actually had a scheduling problem. So I had another semester off in there. So I was like, I didn't have any friends in college yet. And then sophomore year, I kind of met you and that whole clan, and then yeah, was with you guys up until we graduated in 2019, I think.
2019, yeah. So it would
Yeah.
have to have been 2016, 2017. But anyways, me and Austin, like from the jump, like I don't know what even sparked it, but we both just started talking about different ways to make money because we both had different hustles going on at that time, even in college. Austin's always had a full-time job, I'm pretty sure, out of high school, right?
Yeah, still at the same place. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've actually never had a full-time job, and I'm pretty glad about that. I kind of got on the hustle. Like by the time I started driving, I wanted to make sure that I had money to pay for gas, and I didn't want to have to get an actual job. But definitely, it's a great way to fuel your side hustles. And a lot of people just want to go full time at something, which is a great goal to go towards, but I don't think they realize how much money that actually takes to do that. And I think if you can have a full time or at least a part time job to fuel those side hustles, I think that's great. And I think you're going to make even more money and have a lot less stress that way. I know you've talked a couple times about possibly like going full time at something, but there's just something about getting that constant check.
It's hard to walk away from something like that when you're earning money and it's a guaranteed income every week. You've gotten to the point now with your eBay and reselling in general to where you can guarantee your income. But man, whenever you're starting to take that leap, it's really, really hard. But what even you were already into reselling like hardcore whenever we met in school.
Mhm.
So like at what point did you actually start reselling on eBay or maybe even like yard sales or
Yeah, so I've told this a couple times, but it's like buried in some older videos. So I probably haven't told this in a while. I actually started selling on eBay when I was 12 years old. They don't let you have an account that young.
I was gonna say
So yeah, my parents always sold on eBay just kind of like part time around Christmas. My dad would literally just buy the hot Christmas toy, the hot Christmas console, and always be selling that. And I remember him telling me at a young age, like, man, if I could just find a way to find stuff year round, like I could see someone making a lot of money at this. So it's kind of crazy to look back on that. And that's literally what I've done. And I didn't know that then. I just saw my dad making some money and I was like, I got some money I've saved up from chores. Like I think I saved up like 40 or $50. I bought a Wii Fit board when I was 12 because those things were flying. I
Mhm.
flipped it into $140 and then I did that another 15, 20 times and I made $1,000 and when I was in like sixth grade, just in a
Wow.
summer flipping Wii Fit boards. So ever since then, I literally haven't looked back. And those first couple years, I mean, obviously, I was in middle school. I wasn't really caring about making money. I just saw the opportunity to make some money. And then probably by the time I was like freshman in high school is kind of when you're starting to think about driving and you need to make money, so you got to get a job. I was like, let's try to just step up this little hustle and see what we can make of it. That's really when I got into like hats and clothing and stuff, which is my bread and butter. That's what I'm really interested in. It's fun
Mhm.
to sell. It's what I know. So that's when I really started to figure out how to like source for that stuff. I also used to source a lot on like Alibaba and stuff before people knew about that. Unbranded items and selling those. That's really popular now, though. And now, once you find a good product, 1,000 other people hop on it. So I was kind of in that when I was in like junior high and high school, but I really started to get into hats, and that's really what helped my business scale to the next level. Was able to find that consistent inventory that would create consistent sales. I know a lot of problems today are people trying to just make quick cash and reselling, and that's just never been my model. But I also think that's why I was able to sustain it and not have to have a job through high school, college, and then be able to go completely full time after that.
Did your did either of your parents or your dad especially, did he ever do this full time, like, as you were growing up, or
No, so my dad actually retired at 39, so he could
crazy?
stay with us, which is awesome. My parents were there for us. So he actually retired and stayed with us, and then kind of just did this and started his own company then as well. But he also always did this on the side. Now he just does this, and it's basically he says he does it part time, but he's making really good money. So he's
Yeah.
definitely making some cash. Like he could have scaled it up. But it's cool because he like kind of taught me how to do this, and now like I'm so
Taking it
deep
to
into
the
the
next level.
game. I'm kind of sending it right back to him. So he
Yeah.
he taught me how to fish, and now we're both just helping each other out, and it's really awesome.
Yeah, that's super sweet. I mean, to be able to retire at 39 too, like, obviously, you have some sort of goals to do a similar thing. I feel
Yeah,
like that's something that, like, a lot of people don't think of nowadays. Everybody's just set in stone to go and
paycheck to
clock in 9
paycheck.
to 5. Yeah, paycheck to paycheck, draw into a 401k or an IRA and then retire at 65. And I just feel like everyone's conforming to that same mindset, and no
Hmm.
one thinks like, "Hey, I wanna retire in my 30s and actually enjoy life and still live well off, be able to do the things you wanna do, but be able to not have to clock in 9 to 5 somewhere and work your entire life."
Yeah, that's a big problem, and actually a big reason why people like us are able to sell things because as soon as people get money, they spend that money. You will see a huge hike on the tax refund month. When people start getting their tax refunds, they get that extra money, and it's like, well, you actually already paid that to the government. You're just getting it back. Like you should be saving that. But
Mhm.
no, they're gonna just buy things that they don't need. So make sure you have your listings up for that month. But
Yeah.
it's really just bad money management. Like people just don't know how to save money anymore. They weren't taught it. I'm thankful my parents taught me how to save money at an early age. And I think that's a big reason why I was actually able to scale this to a full-time business because I basically had just saved everything that I had made besides reinvesting into the business. I'd probably saved like 50% of everything that had come in, reinvested the other 50%, and I just kept doing that over and over again. And by the time I was out of college, I had a decent little fund that I had built up. So I knew I could give this a go for a year and see what would happen because I had enough in the bank.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that about tax time. I remember going to sneaker releases whenever the game was totally different than the way that it is now. And the amount of people that you would see at a sneaker release during tax time was incredible. Like 3 to 5 times what you would see on a normal release.
That's
Nice.
exactly
Biggest
what I
picture.
would do if I got a refund. I don't get a refund. I just owe the government a lot of money every year.
Exactly.
Um, but
And
I did get one. I got one of the like four stimulus checks, and I put $1,200 into Tesla, and that's when Tesla was like $400, and it went up to like 4,000 before it split. I still haven't sold it. I mean, I got it so low. Like, why wouldn't I just hang on to that?
solid. That's the thing that a lot of people don't think of, like making your money make money for you. So, at what point in
Mhm.
time did you go full time with this?
So it was right after college. Actually, I don't know if I've told this. I I kind of worked a little bit. My dad owns a marketing business. He doesn't run it anymore, but back then he did. And I was kind of running social media and stuff with that for some clients, got some new clients, some like friends of mine. But it just, I don't know, it wasn't really fun. You're just like forcing posts every day. And I was making more on eBay anyways. So I was like, you know what, let's give this a go and act like I was telling myself I was going full time after college, but I kind of was trying to scale up, help my dad scale up that side of the business as well. But it was probably like 6 months after college that I decided I really liked eBay and that was my passion. So that's when I kind of went full into it. And then what did I start my YouTube channel like end of 2020, graduated like May of 2019. So it was probably a
Yeah.
good year and a half after I'd actually started doing this full time. I honestly wish I would have started a YouTube channel in like college. It would have been really cool for people to see the whole scale up process.
Yeah, that and our channels would be a lot bigger than what they are now if we would
I
have
know.
been doing
Yeah, I
it when
wish I
we were
started
fresh.
it in freaking high school.
Yeah, I mean, all the filming that I could have done around the sneaker game, like back whenever it was way more interesting, copying new releases, it would have been sweet content.
Is that a
What's up?
wood guy? What? Oh, that's that's Walker's Woodworks right there.
Oh
YouTube
yeah, yeah,
sensation.
yeah.
Nice.
So full time first year. Do you remember what you grossed?
First year, I
Mhm.
hit 100K gross.
That's
That was
crazy.
my goal, was to hit and that was really like I said, it'd been a couple months and I was still kind of doing it part-time because I was doing a little marketing as well. But I really wanted to hit six figures that first year just in sales, not profit. And then like goal
Right.
for the next year was six figs profit.
hmm And obviously, like year after year, your margins have gotten a lot better. Do you know what your margins
Mhm.
were like closer to starting out? I mean, so like for people that think that they could give this a shot, like what margins can you shoot for, or maybe even expect to make whenever you're trying to resell items like you do?
So like that first year when it was six figures, my margins were actually probably higher than they are now. I'm trying to get them
Oh wow.
back there, but I was buying like ones and twos of things. So I
hmm
obviously wasn't trying to make 40% on an item. I was trying to make 60 to 100%. So I was
hmm
probably bringing in about 60, 70% margins, which not 70%, probably 60% if I had to guess.
Yeah.
And then last year was down closer to like 40%, but I do a lot more volume now. So when you can order 20 of an item and sell it 20 times in a month versus one item, like you're willing to take less amount. Now that I'm able to find deals like all over left and right, I'm more selective, even those volume plays, that I'd like to get my margins back up to like 50, 60% so I can work the same amount and make even more money.
Right. Yeah. Work less hours and make more money. That's always the goal.
Work smarter, not harder, is what my dad always taught me.
I feel like I'm backwards right now. I'm working harder than I ever have in a lot of these different avenues. I'm not making a lot of money at. But I mean, you got to test waters in different areas and see what you like and see what can be profitable long term. But okay, so in between like you starting, obviously part-time is a side hustle and then you going
Mhm.
full-time, we met at school and I remember the first time we had conversations about buying and selling things to make money. I've been in sneakers for over 10 years now, so that was obviously a topic. But then
Mhm.
you took me sourcing at a store, a local store,
Yeah,
near our.
don't give that
No,
up.
I
That
won't.
that's
I would never.
that's a plug.
I know. So you actually took me to one of your hot spots and we sourced, and that was the first time. And it wasn't even like the normal place that you would source inventory from that we source most of our
Mhm.
things from now. I mean, most of the things that we talk about now, you can walk into retailers that anybody can walk into. They're all over at least
Yeah,
Midwest,
that
not all over
that
the
was
country.
really before like Marshalls and TJ's like kind of
Yeah,
merged and kind of had all this really good like inventory that you can buy in Burlington before all those. So you just had to like think outside the box.
yeah. So that was a really cool experience. That was almost like we had talked about it, and then you're like, let's bring it to life, like kind of watch this
Mhm.
moment. And at that point, it was, I think I walked into the store with like a couple $100. And out of everything that I sourced, I think I sold everything within a couple months and made a decent return on it. So that was like me dipping my toes in the water on the eBay side of things. I'd always
Mhm.
sold sneakers on different apps, but I'd never really gotten into the eBay side of things. And yeah, that was a pivotal moment for me because I'd never gotten into anything like that before. but you pretty
Yeah,
much
you
took
were
it
al
under your wing.
you were always just into shoes, I think, and
Hmm.
it's kinda it even goes to show, like, till today, like, you can literally learn something new every single day. I
Yep.
mean, I learn about all these different, I'm gonna call it niches since you said niche, just so we mix
Niche.
it up a little bit. You learn about all these different niches, all these different like bread and butters that people have.
Hmm.
And there's literally money sitting everywhere. You can literally go outside during different times of the year and pick up pine cones if you're in like certain parts of the world, and people will pay for those. We have these buckeye nuts that grow on trees here, and you can sell those on eBay. Like there's free inventory. You can sell things from around your house. Like there's so many different things. There's always a market for something. So it's just really cool when you can like learn different avenues, and we all know our little areas. So it's cool when we can all come together and teach each other these things.
Yeah. Why do you think more people don't get into this stuff? Like, do you think it's just flat out that they're not as like motivated to do this type of thing, or do you think like people conform to their own area and they're just like blind to the fact that you can even do something like that?
I think it's partial that people just don't even think about doing this, or they,
Yeah.
I mean, you've got your naysayers that are like, "Oh, those people aren't actually making money," and those are the
Right.
same people that probably message you on eBay like, "Hey, I'll give you $25 for this." And it's
Yeah.
like, "No." Like they're like, "But that's the retail." It's like, "It's not the going rate." Like, "You think I'm just selling this at cost for fun?" Like,
Right.
"No."
Right. It really is kind of a hard concept to wrap your mind around. So like in layman's terms, for people that are tuning in that have no idea what we're talking about with what Adam does, it's basically the concept is simple, but the work behind the scenes isn't. The
Mhm.
concept is you can literally walk into a store, get on a website, find clearanced items essentially, and then they don't even have to be clearance. Just sought after items that you wouldn't see on eBay for the same price, and then you charge a higher price on eBay or a different third party platform and make money on it, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
usually clearance.
What's that?
Usually clearance too,
Yeah.
like, you're like, a lot of people think that you're just, like, price gouging on everything, and that's
No.
really only on, like, hype items like PS5s last year. Like, yeah, if you wanna call that gouging, okay, but if you really want a PS5 and wanna pay $800, then go for it. But
Yeah.
most of the stuff I sell, I get at clearance prices, and I actually sell under retail, so I don't know why
Right.
people hate on it so much.
Right. It's just like a happy medium, competitive pricing. It's just crazy that like you can walk into a TJ Maxx or a Marshalls and buy something off the shelf that literally anybody can buy at any point in time,
Mhm.
and then sell it for more money. And really the stuff that gets into those stores, isn't it stuff that like didn't sell at other retailers to begin with? So at
Yeah,
one
didn't
point,
sell at retail.
yeah, so at one point something didn't sell for retail, you might get it at a discount and then sell it for close to or at retail to somebody else. It's just getting it into the right end consumer's hand. It's crazy how it works, but
Yeah, most of the stuff at Marshalls was never, like, online either. It was, like, at stores, probably at, like, a Macy's or somewhere like that. I mean, how often do people actually shop at those stores, and how many items do those places have? Like,
right.
if everyone shops online anymore, and that's what's the beautiful thing is you can sell anything at the right price.
Right. There's a lot of logistics behind it too. It's a matter of those big retailers putting things in the right place. Maybe it might
Mhm.
not work, and then it might go to a TJ Maxx or a Marshalls or a Burlington, and it might not work there either. And then that's whenever it gets red tagged and clearance, and then we pick it up and resell it.
Right, exactly. That's what we
so
like to do.
so you went full time, hit six figures, probably first year full time, and
Mhm.
then where have we gotten to now?
Now we've gotten to where I created the YouTube channel. That was, like, at the end of that. No, was that the 2nd year? Yeah, that was the 2nd year.
Probably, yeah,
End
yeah,
of the 2nd year, yeah. That's
yeah,
when I was, like, I was just, like, I was grinding out and, like, doing all this, and I was like, "There's gotta be a way to, like, monetize this at the same time," and I knew thinking long term, I was like, "It's probably gonna take a good, like, year to get a YouTube channel monetized, and I'm probably not going to make much off of that, but if I can get some type of a following, I should really be able to help people as well and telling them about all of this because 'cause I've got all this information and I'm just keeping it to myself." And it was almost just lonely, like, you're just grinding away every day, and it's not like I've made a YouTube channel to brag or anything, but I
right.
literally just wanted to get it out and wanted to help people and kinda just share what I do because I can help some people make some money.
Yeah, there's definitely plenty of it out there. So at this point, you'd been doing everything behind the scenes. Nobody knows anything about it. So now you've kind of brought the behind the scenes to light and
Mhm.
kind of created another avenue to make money by filming it and sharing it on YouTube. So now you've already got two ways that you're making money just doing one thing, essentially.
Yep.
So what's your YouTube obviously started from zero. Where are you at now with YouTube?
15.8K.
Yeah, so over 15,000 subs and you got monetized within a year. So after that first year, you're already making money on YouTube.
Yeah, not
Pretty
much,
sweet.
but
Yeah, still pretty sweet though. That I mean that makes it all worth it at least. And you were gonna do this thing anyways, right? So like
right.
you were gonna source inventory and list it and sell it anyhow. So why not film it?
Yeah, exactly. And I'll even tell you guys what I make on a monthly basis. I'm anywhere from 450 to $600 from YouTube. They don't pay the big bucks unless you're over like 100K subs. If I get
Yeah,
to 100K subs, then I might be making some big bucks on YouTube, but
yeah,
it's a lot of work for not a ton right now.
right. And you never know whenever it's gonna kick off. I mean, I was chilling at like 1,000 subs for how long, and then pretty much overnight gained another 3,500, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
your videos absolutely popped. Two in a
Yeah,
row. This guy had go to 200K.
yeah,
I've
which is insane
I've
for
never had one even hit 100K.
yeah, I mean that was luck and a little bit of research, I guess, and just yeah, luck really. So you were filming everything behind the scenes. You're making anywhere from 4 to 6, maybe $700 a month. That's like, I mean, that's a car payment.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Walker, I don't want to hear it. You don't even put videos out anymore.
You do have over 100K subs, is he really?
He's like 103, 104K. He hasn't made a video in like a month or two. He makes
Dude,
like one video a month.
I'll
I
buy
mean,
your
it is like
channel
a
from you
wood.
for like $100. It wouldn't be worth it to you to sell it to me. I know the work
No,
that gets into it's
sitting on the
crazy.
cash cow.
Yeah. So, okay, making money on YouTube, making money on the eBay stuff. And then you got to the point where you got another year or two under your belt now because you've been doing YouTube for like 2 years now, almost. You're on your
Mhm.
second full year.
2 years, like 3 months.
Yeah, yeah. So another couple years under your belt, reselling. What did those years look like? Reselling on all your different platforms.
Yeah, so the next year, like 2021, is where I really like realized that eBay wasn't the only place to sell. It's kind of when all these other platforms started popping up. It's when I got the Mercari going. It's when I got the Amazon going. I even tried a little Poshmark, which I don't recommend because I think it's a stupid platform. But if you like it, don't take offense to that. That's just what I think. um,
Or
I
take
think
offense.
that was the year of that was the summer of pools, wasn't it?
Pools were
2021.
nuts. You got me into eBay stuff heavier whenever pools came, and pools was insane. And I wish I had a lot more knowledge then. Then yeah,
I wish I had more space then.
yeah,
Dude,
you did run it.
I was buying online. Kohl's was restocking them, and I was only buying 10 because that's all I could fit in the garage. Those
Nuts.
things were $250 plus you got $10 Kohl's cash for every $50 spent. So you got a $50 Kohl's cash for every single pool, and you sold those pools on Amazon immediately after listing them for $1,200. You were
Yeah,
literally just getting I would order 10 at a time because that's all I could fit. I would see them out for delivery. I would list them on Amazon. They would be sold by the time they got here. I even considered ordering like 100 and then just like freaking lining them up in the driveway, but I was worried it was going to be like a rainy day and I wasn't going to be
yeah.
able to I would stretch wrap them in the driveway. So I didn't have as
Kind of
big of balls
weather.
then as I did now, but
Yeah,
man, that was
yeah.
crazy.
That was a crazy time, dude. That was insane. Not to mention, too, shipping those back then was so expensive, and we don't even need to get into why. But shipping, we can do a lot better now. So
Commercial shipping rates now, yeah.
the margins would have been crazy. Which I didn't even really flip any of those on eBay. I mean, you guys were crushing it on Amazon, and I just I mean, I'm approved to sell on Amazon now, and I'm not even taking advantage of it right now because I haven't become ungated. You're way more familiar with how this stuff works, but I haven't started selling anything on Amazon. And
Mhm.
I was selling most of these pools just on Facebook Marketplace, just slinging them.
Oh, yeah. Funny story actually. I kind of came out your way to sell someone a pool. I don't know if this is funny or not, but I think I showed it in a video actually. I met this lady for a pool. She gave me $450 all in ones, and
Oh,
they were like dirty. So I'm pretty sure she was like a stripper or something. But
more than
I was like,
likely.
I mean, I didn't know if I wanted to touch that money or not, but I was like, it is $450. So
It's funny that you say that because I had a similar story out closer your way. But mine was a dude and my money reeked of something else and I just knew that he was pushing something else. But hey, I mean money is money. I guess
it
kudos to
spends
their
the
hustle.
same, I guess. No matter what the money's seen, it spends the same.
There's money to be made everywhere, guys. Let's go get
New
it.
edition, stripper edition.
Oh my goodness. So how much money did you make? This is just like one season. How much money did you make selling these pools? And when we're talking about these pools, guys, we're talking about like above ground, some metal frames, some
Mhm.
inflatable pools.
I did over the summer I did 80K, and I honestly could have done way more.
That's absurd. Eighty
Yeah, I
thousand
mean,
dollars just flipping one item.
yeah, I could have done millions if I had the space and if I wasn't tired of freaking taking pools to US or UPS. I mean, I would have them come
Yeah.
pick it up too, but I'd feel bad when I'd have 10 pools and I would pay UPS $4 to come pick them all up.
Yeah.
Like they'd have to bring a special truck or two trucks. So it was just like if I had a truck then, I would have been slinging more. And if I had my warehouse then, I would have been slinging more. I would have cleared out half my warehouse, just liquidated stuff just to do that. If something like that comes up again, that was insane.
That was crazy. But it's staying hip to waves like that. And we've had this conversation before about like not letting ourselves get old. We got to stick to all the new waves and like not fall behind on things so that we can keep making money in the best way possible. So those couple years then pools came about, still doing eBay, still doing
Mhm.
YouTube. What did you gross those 2 years reselling altogether?
That was my first year. I did 300K and over 100K profit. And since then, I've pretty much flatlined. But I
Mhm.
also that's also when I really stepped up my content, and that's when I started the Discord group.
Mhm.
So I've told people like if I didn't do YouTube or do Discord and just grinded at this, I probably could do close to 1 million in sales a year by myself. But where's the fun in that? Like I'd rather teach people and help other people, and it just wouldn't be fun to just literally do the same exact thing. At least like making content and stuff is really fun, and helping people out in the Discord group and on YouTube is fun. So that's the fun in it. If I was just grinding it out by myself, like yeah, you're probably like, I would take the $1 million if I knew what you knew, but I don't know,
Yeah.
it would just be boring to do the same thing every day. It'd be like actually having a job, and what I do right now doesn't feel like I have a job. Like I wake up and it's something new every day. It's just I enjoy what I do.
Yeah. It would get lonely, like you said. So over 300K, what does it take to make that? Obviously there's a lot of work on the back end, but like how many listings do you have active? What's your day-to-day regimen to be able to make $300,000 in sales on eBay?
Yeah, so that's like about 5 to 6,000 transactions a year. Probably towards the probably actually maybe towards like 7,000 that one year. I was doing a lot of like smaller items, like $15 to $20 items. Over the last couple years, I've kind of shifted into higher end items. So my average cost, I think, is like $40 per item. So I don't have to sell as much. So working towards work smarter, not harder.
Right.
Um, but that's really what I've tried to turn my business to, because it, it's so hard when you're trying to just do volume, and I would literally just do it for the packaging picks, and it's like that's not worth it. I'd rather make an extra like $10 to $20 per item. So I may
Right.
sell less now but make more money. But going into the things behind the scenes, like that first year of doing that, I was probably pumping out like 30, 40 items a day, like selling that many. And I was packaging every single day. That's another thing I've switched since then is I don't package every single day. I just package Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I have 2 business handling days on. It just has freed up my Tuesdays and Thursdays to be able to source and list more items. because before it was just shipping every single day, listing every single day. I still list every day, but I only list about 5 items on Monday and Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And on Tuesday, Thursday, I usually get up between 20 and 50 items. So, and then on the weekends, I list a little bit too. I'd say on an average week, especially back then, like 2 years ago, I was probably listing between 50 and 100 items a week. Now, that's not separate items because I do a lot of volume. So 50 items might be I had one listing was 20 hats, another listing was 4 jerseys, like different things like that. So that's just like 50 to 100 listings a week.
Do you feel like that's like a lot of the key to the success of your eBay account in particular is listing?
Yeah, definitely. If you want to have success on eBay, you have to not like listing, but you need to do it consistently.
Oh, I hate
And
listing so
that
much.
means every single day you got to get something up, and eBay will reward you. I know a lot of people have said that's just a rumor, but I've been doing it for a couple years, and my eBay stores are popping, impressions are popping, everything. You got to get stuff listed.
Yeah, you're right. Every time I list consistently and I have sales go through consistently, also after my feedback cleared after that year, I feel like my sales boosted. That might just be a weird coincidence, but that's what I saw with my account.
Yeah, feedback used to affect sales. Now it literally doesn't matter at all, and no one even
Really?
looks at it. That's why I don't even care. Like if someone opens a return for doesn't fit, like I'm sorry, I'm declining that. You should know the size of your feet. I don't care if you leave me a negative feedback. I'll take your $100 for the cleats. Thank you.
Right.
I had that I, I think it was last night actually. Someone opened for that, left me a negative feedback. I don't give a crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one of those recently too, and I just sent him a I believe in unicorns poly mailer.
I
Uh,
saw that. Did you did he leave you a feedback?
never said anything, never messaged me back or anything. So this
That's
dude,
hilarious.
I sold. It was just a beanie. It was like a Milwaukee Bucks beanie. I'm pretty sure I sourced it with you, and
Mhm.
it was like not a salute to service one, but pretty similar to that, and like just like a camo Milwaukee Bucks beanie. And I sold it, and literally the next day, the dude's messaging me saying like, "Where's my item? Did you ship my item?" And I'm like, "Hold on, dude. Like some people do other things than just eBay. There's a handling time on here." And because I mean he can't do anything. He's gotta
No.
chill during the handling time. So I told him that, and he just got nasty about it. And he was like, "Give me my money back or ship my item." So I just stopped messaging him, and then I updated the tracking, and I sent it in a pink "I believe in unicorns" poly mailer.
And you I wish I had the picture. He like the poly mailer is like this, and it's got it right on the middle. So he slapped the label on top and like folded it over so that you could see the unicorn and read that. I mean, I
Yeah,
just thought that was hilarious.
it's petty stuff, but that's the kind of fun thing that you get to do whenever like you're your own boss. You
Mhm.
don't have to do the right thing all the time. You can have fun with
Do
it.
the right thing.
Yeah,
I mean, you sent it out in the handling time, and you sent it
yeah,
like some beautiful packaging.
yeah.
So like, what else does he want?
And anybody in any other consumer's world I didn't meet, I exceeded customer expectations. So
The real question is, where did you get the poly mailer? Did you order that specially for that joke, or?
no, I had like a big pack of them. They're small ones, but like every once in a while, I mean, I'm sure you do the same thing. Hop on Amazon or hop on discount websites and look and see what's on clearance for poly mailers. And I just bought a bunch of them.
I mean,
So
if that was the cheapest, I'll send it in whatever. Like I was
okay,
using pink ones for a while because that was the cheapest one. Like I don't care to have designs on it, but if it does and it's the cheapest ones, then shoot,
yeah,
I'll send it in some unicorn polys.
yeah. There's gonna be a bunch of those unicorn polys floating around here. So
Maybe we'll make some like bread and butter poly mailers. That would actually be sweet.
that would be sweet. That's free advertisement. Bread and butter. All right, so that's the next thing then. So you've started from scratch, eBay.
Mhm.
You started filming on YouTube, make money there. It's two different ways that you made money down the line. Then you started bread and butter. It's a Discord. So what even is a cook group per se?
So it was actually during pool season. Learned really about pools. Joined Monitor Mafia. The owner of that cook group actually reached out to me on Instagram because he watched me on YouTube, and he basically was like, "Hey, I'll give you a free membership to this if you just talk about me in a video." And I was like, I mean, I don't know what this is, but sure. Like, I didn't really have any sponsorships at that time, and kind of got in there, and it was a really cool community. And whether he watches this or not, I literally never would have made a cook group if he kept posting things.
Yeah.
It was a great group, like through pools, but all that was ever talked about in there was pools. Again, if you're watching this, I don't want to make you mad, Monitor Mafia guy, but after that, like
You
he
were a
kept trying to
one-hit wonder.
yeah, he kept trying to like push pools like through the winter, and it was like it's not happening. And then he just ghosted people for like a month. And me and Hayden was actually paying to be in there. When
Mhm.
I joined, I actually got him to join as well. He was one of my referrals into there, and we were like, this doesn't seem very hard. We could easily do this, and we could easily make a group that's worth $30 a month, because this one gets one thing posted every week and people are paying $30 a month. And it wasn't even about the money. It was just like we saw the opportunity. It was like we can actually make something and be like helpful to people. So we joined a couple other cook groups before we did this to kind of see what other ones were about. And we really saw that they were literally just like hype items, and every single cook group was the exact same. And it's like, well, we're kind of in an industry of our own, talking about like sourcing long-term inventory that can create consistent sales instead of just going after those hype quick flips that usually brick. And we were like, we can make something a little different, try to build a nicer community than these other places where it's really nice and tight knit. And that's what we did. I think we rolled that out in like August of 2021, maybe September of 2021.
That sounds right.
And then just haven't looked back since.
Yeah, it's been crazy watching Bread and Butter grow into what it has become. And you're not wrong about the community. Like it's insane. It's a really good group of people, especially the staff members. Everybody puts in as much time as they can. I mean, I slack. I'm not gonna speak for myself on that, but I should be posting more in the sneakers channels. But everybody who's active does a really, really good job on call outs and leads. And there's money to be made from the top to the bottom. Like the staff
Mhm.
members and the members themselves are making just as much money off of the same opportunities, and it's
Mhm.
it's really cool to see that. So launching something like that, I mean, obviously that was a huge leap. Like you guys knew that was
Mhm.
going to take a lot of time. If it kicked off, it was a shot in the dark at first, but you knew it was going to work. So what has that grown into now? Like how many members are in the community?
So there's 500 members in the community, and we are going to cap it eventually.
Yeah, so it's going to be more of like an exclusive group. That way it doesn't get like too wild with call
Yeah,
outs and stuff.
exactly. I mean, it is like crazy with the call outs right now,
Hmm.
which is a good problem to have. We believe in capitalism though. So like
Almost.
people are posting like affiliate links in there, and they're getting a little kickback off of people's purchases. And you don't see this in other groups. Other groups don't allow people to post things. They only allow the staff members to post things, literally.
Yeah.
Also, good luck with that chaos. You might get like goon and paragraph in there.
Yeah, the MVPs. Let's go. No, but okay, so 500 members. 500 members. Whenever you started, we were at what rate for a member?
It was $29.99 a month until like
Yeah.
2 months ago.
Yeah. So just boosted, and that's kind of part of the exclusivity, but there's more things being offered now. You guys do giveaways and stuff in the group. So back to the business side of things. So
Mhm.
eBay, reselling, YouTube, making money there, bread and butter. What does that gross each month as a business, I guess?
Throwing a
500 members, not
hardball
all
at me.
paid, right?
Let me let me think. Like for like this year, I mean, it depends on the time of year.
So
Like
like right now, what's bread and
even
butter
like
grossing as a group?
quarter four. I mean, anyone can do the math. $30 a
Mhm.
month times there's over 500 members, but there's only like 480 paying or something like
Yeah,
that.
which is
But
crazy to gain a
that
following
even
like that.
yeah, that even goes up though in quarter four, and then like come January that drops off. So literally like
Mhm.
everything I think we were up to close to 600 in quarter four. People just want that quick money for all those
Right,
Christmas flips, which that's fine. But like come Halloween, like it'll really ramp up again.
right.
And then people just drop off come the new year. I mean, that's the slow season, but that's the season we love. That's when all of the sales take place from now till September. That's when we stack that bread and butter inventory so that we can have a crazy quarter four.
Yep. Q4 is crazy with the sales, but like you said, beginning of the year is whenever you stack that inventory and then flip it later on. So yeah, I mean, all the way down your stream of doing one niche, you're making money. And whether that be eBay, reselling firsthand, YouTube, now bread and butter, which you're doing the same thing on bread and butter. You're calling out items. Plus, you're probably getting some leads there too that you wouldn't have gotten before from
Exactly.
people calling things out. So it's benefiting you in multiple different ways as a business owner and just as a member of the group.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like I said kind of earlier, and I think I said it last week too, or 2 weeks ago. I learn something new every single day as well. It's just really cool to get all these different people that know all these different things, and we're all just trying to help each other out, trying to share links and explain like why this is selling well, explain our different categories that we know to each other. So I'm teaching people, people are posting things that I've never seen about, and then I kind of learn about that category and I can find some deals in that as well.
Yeah. There's so many markets that we have untapped. I know we've talked about it a few times. Things like we don't have a bunch of females in the group.
I wasn't
I'm not
talking to
kidding.
you. I'm talking
Yeah,
to
I know.
Diego. I'm sorry. I only know about the US,
Different from
unfortunately.
Portugal. Yeah, I'm not too sure either. That
Thanks for the
international
kind
shipping,
comments though.
uh,
Appreciate it.
super tough. But we don't have like a lot of females in the group, and that's a market that is untapped for me. I don't know anything about it. So there's that much more money out there because a lot of the people in our group, and I feel like resellers in general, they're men.
Yeah. There's a lot of women that go to thrift stores and stuff and buy clothing. And we've had a lot of them actually join the group and teaching them online and retail arbitrage. And I think that that's really helped out those families.
Yeah,
And it's just really cool to kind of see how you've impacted people that way too.
yeah. Yeah, I see a lot of them on like Instagram whenever I'm leafing through the reseller hashtags. I see,
Hashtag reseller gain train. That used to
yeah,
be the way to get followers, man.
yeah, that used to be the way you could stack some followers. Not so much anymore. But you do get to see some cool things. Like every week, whenever I look up that hashtag, I'll get to see some different things that people are reselling. Sometimes there's some sneakerheads in there too, so that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a thousands, millions of ways to make money. And it's just really cool to have everyone come together and be able to like put in their 2 cents.
Yeah. So all of these different side hustles kind of grouped into one, doing the same thing. Like I said, I think it's insane how you make money from the top of the stream to the bottom of the stream. I think that's really, really inspiring. So what do you see yourself doing next? Can you squeeze any more money out of this one area of things that you're doing, or do you want to divert and do something else? Or
I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm focusing on the channel and Discord like more than ever. Honestly, that's really where my passion is. I mean, reselling too, but I'm not really actively trying to scale my business. I'm trying to just maintain it. So it's kind of a tough question because I'm kind of just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Hopefully, the group grows a little more. We cap it; it gets really exclusive,
Mhm.
and then who knows where it goes? Maybe we hire some people to do the things that I don't want to do. Like I'm fine like posting leads and stuff and answering questions, but I'm thankful for Hayden. He does a much of the back end crap on Discord
Mhm.
that I don't even want to deal with.
Shouts to Hayden. You guys do a really, really good job with that group. You guys should be proud. It's hard to get that many people to not only click the button subscribe. I mean, we found out how hard that was just by creating a YouTube channel, but then to go ahead and pay.
Viral potential. Maybe we need to clip that.
Right. Nice. Yeah, that's relatable on a lot of different levels. I feel like anybody can relate to that. Yeah, I wasn't talking to you.
No, I was talking to Diego. Leave me alone, Austin.
Sorry. Sorry, Diego, for taking the attention away from you.
So we're up to I mean that was up to present. Should we touch on your business?
Yeah, we
I've
can
got
start, and you can chime back in at any point in time whenever you think of something that you missed.
I mean, can you think of anything that I missed before we get on to you?
Not really off the top of my head. I mean, you expanded your business into a point where, yeah, there is something. You went from doing this part time to doing it full time to switching warehouses to be able to like fulfill the capacity and the demand for the capacity of your eBay. Um,
Yeah, I didn't get into that, did I? I meant to. I was thinking about that beforehand. I wanted to talk about like where I used to store all my inventory and stuff.
and maybe add to that like the cost what are the costs incurred with running an eBay store? Like, what's your overhead for something like that?
Yeah, so when I was starting out, like after college, I was actually running it out of my room,
Hmm.
and my sister's room actually, I had like a she was even here at the time. I had a freaking shelf like stacked up with hats in it. And then eventually I grew out of that probably after like 6 months after college. And I asked my parents if I could use the basement, and I was renting the basement from them. We got this huge basement that used to have a hockey rink in it. It's actually got a hockey rink in it again now. That's where I'm at. Um, but I actually turned that old hockey rink that I used to play hockey into a warehouse. Um, and that just wild. There really weren't a ton of upfront costs with that. It was really just shelving, which I only had probably like 5 or 6 shelves down here, and those weren't as expensive as they are now, and then everything else I just kept in boxes and stacked on the floor. Horrible method, but I was just a dumb college student, like, fresh out of college, not really knowing what to do, and kinda tried to scale it up really quick, got a bunch of inventory, so I just kinda put everything where it was. But anyways, I think I had it down in the basement for probably a year, year and a half, and then I was like, "I'm tired of going up and down the stairs." Um, and a family friend, my parents actually had gone out to dinner with them, and they were telling them about my business, and they were like, "Oh, we have a 6, 8 car garage that we don't use anymore." Like it was our dad's workshop or whatever, and I was like, "Yes,
Idiot.
please."
Yeah.
So went out and looked at it. My mom, thankful for her, she helped clean it out, basically cleaned it out. My dad helped too. We had a garage sale out there, got rid of everything, turned an old wood workshop into my new warehouse that I've been at since April, March or April, somewhere around then. I have a video of before. So if you want to go check that out, you can see the old basement warehouse. That's where I started the YouTube, started filming everything. And then I moved all the inventory out to the new warehouse. I have a video on that, and then showing the new warehouse. Um, and that one actually came with industrial shelves in it. So I really still didn't have to buy any shelves. I had you actually put together like 5 new shelves with me. That's
Yeah.
literally all I bought.
Took me
Those
like
were like
5 tries to put them together the wrong way, but
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
those were like $30 a pop. So at the time that was a really good price. Well, right now that's a really good price for those.
Yeah.
Um, but and I thankfully got a killer deal on that too. I mean, I don't even know what the square footage is, but before that I was looking at all these like storage unit places, not storage units, the ones where you can like rent an office, like a warehouse. They got like big storage unit buildings with like warehouses in them,
Yeah.
and they were wanting like $1,200 a month for probably a
Wow.
bay that you could fit like 4 or 5 cars in. So it was smaller than what I have,
Yeah.
and I'm only paying 500 for what I have now, which is absolutely crazy, and I'm only using probably like 2/3 of it. I still have tons of room. I just have to reorganize it. You guys will see a video on that coming soon. My warehouse is absolutely trashed right now. That's why I don't show much of it in my what sold videos. I just show the little corner that's nice, but I'm gonna get it all looking nice. And but once you have all the supplies and you're up and running, like there's not a ton of upfront costs with warehouses and storing it. Obviously, just the monthly payment.
Right. That, and also, not only just Adam's warehouse, you're going to be showcasing a lot of other people's here soon, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that thanks for bringing that up. That's a new series actually coming up. It's called going to be called MPTV Cribs, and I'm going to be going to all different warehouses of different resellers. I'm hopefully going to have some subscribers send some videos in, because I obviously can't go to all parts of the country and just go to people's warehouses. Plus, I don't know, that seems like a bad idea. Like something could go down with that. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking about having people like send videos in, and then I can splice it together and kind of voice over and stuff and talk about it. But I think this will be really cool to get people's perspectives on how different people run their businesses, how they store their inventory, maybe eventually not even just have it be reselling related, like be any business. Because
Yeah.
I know some other business owners, and I just think it'd be kind of cool to get some insights into some small businesses and how they are run.
Yeah.
Actually have a little trailer. I don't know if I can show it. Let's see. You can talk. I'll see if I can bring it up.
No, you're good. I think it'd be sweet to see inside of just any small business in general and just see how see how they're run and see how they operate. I mean, that's kind of like what got me started on my passion for business, was just being a part of a small business. It didn't even matter what it was, just being able to get my hands on some certain operation and then learning how it makes money.
Thank you, Mary. Appreciate it. I'm putting some time into it. I'm trying to decide if I want to go somewhere else first or if I want my own to actually be the first one. I might start after I organize my warehouse. I might have that be the first one and
Pretty
then
cool.
say like, hey, if you want your warehouse featured, like send me videos and let's feature it on the channel. So we'll see. Let's see if I think I can zoom in on just me. Bang. There we go. Sorry, Austin. See ya. Here we
Okay.
go.
Yes.
Coming soon, MPTV Cribs. No one steal my idea, please.
Oh.
I'll send it back to both. There we go.
I'm getting that animation done for my channel like right now. It should be back tomorrow.
Fiverr is the best, man.
Fiverr's so clutch. Yeah, shouts to Fiverr, dude. You made your logo on your own, but your intro from Fiverr. My logo was created on Fiverr. My intro on Fiverr. I've done a
Your
lot of
logo
things for
Your
what?
logo is awesome. I've always
Yeah,
been jealous of it.
I did not expect it to turn out that good. And I've reached out to that person like multiple times over little changes and getting files, and it's surprising how good the service is, like even after the fact on Fiverr. Like all these artists are so good with standing behind their work and like helping you out even after the sale. It's incredible.
Awesome. Yeah. So actually, before we get into your backstory, do you have any new series or new videos you want to plug that you have coming up? Anything you can think of?
Yeah, nothing that I've started filming as I chew on ice. Um, I really just want to get into the community more. Like, I don't want to say I'm tired of it, but I don't want to be a talking head forever. Like, it's gotten my channel to where I'm at. I just haven't had a lot of time to get out and do some of the crazy ideas that I have for a sneaker channel.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to get out into the community, and like every time I go to the mall, like I see people wearing certain sneakers and I want to talk to them about it, get their story, see what they got on their feet, see what they think they're worth, where they got them from, stuff like that. And then just have like a little comedy and like vlog style behind it. I think it'd be cool. I have a couple different places that I want to go to this year that are kind of local, that I think would make good videos. So stay tuned for those, because I'm actually excited for those. That's the thing that makes YouTube enjoyable, is filming content that you actually enjoy.
Yeah, the editing part is not fun, but the filming is the fun part.
I used to like the editing wasn't so bad at the beginning. I mean, the very, very beginning, it was terrible because it took so much time. But after I got the hang of it at the beginning, it was so rewarding to finish and then like finish a thumbnail and actually upload. But I'm at the point now where like clipping and editing, it's just become so tedious and repetitive. I want to do something that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Conrad. I really appreciate that. Really nice words.
Yeah, man, all of my reselling ability outside of shoes has come from Adam's knowledge. He's taken me
Don't
under.
say that.
No, it's true.
You knew all about you knew how to
I knew
sell
about
things.
sneakers.
You just need to open up your mind to anything but shoes.
That's a big part of it. And then another thing that I was thinking of, like you and I would become, I wouldn't say disconnected, but obviously we live like over an hour apart. So we would text here and there, business ideas and stuff that we had going on, but then we'd always reconnect through golf. And every time we went golfing, you'd have some new endeavor or something crazy to tell me about. And like every time I left playing golf with you, I'd just leave that much more motivated because there'd be something else for me to work towards. So
yeah, I don't know how I have that drive, but I've always just strived to be able to just make it on my own because I don't want to work for someone else. I want to make it myself. So I have an interesting brain that way. I can't really talk to people. You know that I'm very introverted, but for some reason now I can talk to a camera. I'm still not very good at it, but if you see me in public and I seem rude, I just really don't like talking to people. If I'm being honest, I'm very uncomfortable with it, but my brain works and is able to think of new business ideas. I can text people very easily. That's fine with me, but I don't like when people call me, like just text me.
yeah, talking to people or being like up in front of a lot of people is tough. I struggled with it for a long time, and then like even now, like if I were to get up in front of 50 or 100 people, like at first I'd be a little bit nervous, but just doing it over and over. Like I mean, I I like rapped and was an MC in a forum show, and then been on stage like once in the past year for one of Alan's concerts, and just like introed people, and even that's enough to make you nervous. And then I went to uh, I went to my local high school, actually. High school, middle school, high school. It was high school, and talked to an entrepreneurship course and employability course. So that was in front of like 25 kids at class, and at first I was nervous, but dude, it was so much fun. I can't wait. I'm gonna go back this spring, hopefully. I feel like some of the kids got a pretty good takeaway from it, and I feel like I learned a lot too from the kids.
No, that's really cool. I remember you sending me pictures and telling me about that. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Like the opportunities that this opens up for us
yeah,
too.
for sure, for sure. That and just getting connected with people. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's dive back into your beginnings. We kind of went through my whole story, how I scaled up my business after college, how we moved out to the new warehouse. Um, then how did you get started?
Man, I would say shoes has been a big part of my reselling or my side hustle, I guess, life. I started. It's been over 10 years now. I feel like, and it just all started. I mean, after we get our license, obviously we gain a little bit of freedom to go out and do things that we want to do. And I always liked sneakers, but I never had anything that was like super sought after. I had Jordans, but they're always like the flights and this or that, like nothing anybody cared about. And so one of my really good friends, Alex, he took me to a sneaker convention in Columbus. It was a local one. And dude, I just fell in love. Like the culture was crazy there. Everybody was all about sneakers, no pun intended. Like, but it was crazy, dude. Just if you haven't been to a sneaker convention, I mean, you could probably speak on this because I had you
Yeah,
come and help me out. It is crazy.
yeah, that was an eye-opening experience. Like I didn't even bring any shoes to sell. I just kind of wanted to film some content and just kind of see what it was all about. And
Yeah,
that was just the little sneaker freaks in Columbus. Like I don't
yeah,
even know
totally
what like
crazy one.
sneaker con is like.
Yeah, SneakerCon is insane, and even that from going to the shows in Columbus to going to something like SneakerCon, an even bigger eye opener for me because I was used to going to sneaker shows, and I guess I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but I was used to going to sneaker shows and selling like three, four, five, six pairs, and then the first time I went to SneakerCon, I sold 50 pairs at one show, and like that was incredible. I was like, what have I been doing this whole time? Not traveling to SneakerCon, like I should have been going to these the last 10 years. But so I guess that first sneaker convention, which it was a Sneaker Freaks, the same one that you came to, it was the
And
first
when was that?
Sneaker Freaks that I went to.
What you know what year, how old you were then?
No, I'd have to look up when the first Sneaker Freaks was. I was somewhere. I was probably 16 or 17. That's
Okay,
whenever I probably
just giving us a general timeline.
yeah 16 or 17. Definitely not 18 yet because I was grinding in high school towards sneakers. Um, so yeah, I think at that first convention I bought like my first two pairs of retro Jordans. It was the Shadow ones and then a pair of white grape fives, and I loved them. See, back then it was more of like a collector thing. I wanted to have hype shoes. I liked the shoes. It wasn't just for the flex. It was because I actually loved the shoes.
Mhm.
And so I wasn't even worried about selling them at first, but I always liked money and I always hoarded money. So then it got to the point where I loved the shoes so much, but I liked money too. And I'd start selling some pairs that maybe I didn't love as much as others. And I'd have my own rotation of sneakers. And then I'd start buying some new releases and selling them. And it got to the point where I was like seeing other people doing it, and I'd see the same people in line for new releases, and we were all copping the same thing, and then we all started reselling the same thing. And it's not like something that I created by any means. I just fell into the game,
Right.
but I fell in love with reselling too. So I mean, I'm still a sneakerhead. I still have my own rotation, and I still like to wear the shoes. But I mean, now it's really hard for me to buy a dead stock pair of sneakers and not want to sell it.
And like the game has changed so much from when it started as well.
Hmm.
Um, but back to what was I gonna say? Um, I totally forget my train of thought. Oh, we got a question. One sec. Next road trip to Dallas, probably next season for the Cowboys. I don't know what game. My dad and I always pick a game to go to one of those, so that's when we will do it. Back to the shoes, though. So when was that first year that you went to SneakerCon? You said that's really when you opened your eyes to like the shoe shows. Like how many years after would you say going to Sneaker Freaks?
Several. The first time I went to Sneaker Con was after I graduated college. So in between there, I mean, I had been buying and selling shoes. I even dabbled. I saw like how the sneaker conventions worked, and this is just the hustler mindset in me. Looking around at all the tables, and I'm like, man, every single vendor here paid $50 for a table to sell sneakers. And on top of that, every single person that's walking around here paid 10, 15, $20 to get in. Like, why can't I do something like this? Like, I'm connected and I love shoes, so why can't I run a show like this? And I actually tried to do one myself. And I wouldn't say I wasn't a flop. It was a lot of work, and it was hard to do
Mhm.
it in the area that I was in. I actually brought it all the way back to my hometown, which is population of like 16,000 people versus Columbus, which is top 10 biggest cities in America. So yeah, I mean, it was tough, but it was something that if I would have taken it closer to Columbus, it probably would have done a lot better. I should have stuck with it because it was pretty good. For as young as I was, I mean, I was fresh out of high school. Um, Dude, I might have even been a senior whenever I did that sneaker show. Actually, I'd have to go back and look at the exact time frame. I think I was still in high school, and I made a couple grand off of that show. Whereas, I mean, SneakerCon, they're easily doing over six figures every single
Oh
show.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I really liked that. And then from then it was just buying and selling sneakers. I started a sneaker page on Instagram, and I was posting sneakers on there, trying to sell and make the best margins possible.
Mhm.
Then the game changed, man. The game changed so much. Goat came along, StockX came along. People started selling more sneakers on eBay. The in-person sales kind of slowed down a little bit, and I just had to learn to adapt. Um,
That's what I was gonna ask. Like those first several years you were doing this, like you were doing it all like in person, probably cash deals. You weren't even slinging any online.
Yeah, there was so much footwork. Like, I think I even broke up a few videos on my channel into like footwork and three different areas on how to cop sneakers. And there was so much more literal footwork back then. I mean, I was going to Columbus, which for me, to put that into perspective, that was like an hour drive for me every single
Mhm.
time that I went to Columbus.
That's a hike out to him. A
Yeah,
big
so
drive through a bunch of cornfields the whole way.
it is. And we don't have stores like those for like the opportunity for me to cop sneakers that were
Right.
valuable at the time. And so I would go to Columbus. I'd go to Columbus on like a Tuesday, enter a raffle, try and get some sort of good relationship with a store manager, employees, to get in good graces before the raffle because you never know what goes down on the raffle. There's a lot of backdooring. They reserve pairs for people that they like.
Mhm.
So I'd go there for the raffle on a Tuesday. Winners would be drawn on a Thursday, and you'd be sitting by your phone all day because if you missed a phone call, they signed you off. You didn't get your shoes. Didn't matter what you could call back and say your mom was dying. You're not getting your shoes. Doesn't matter.
Jeez.
And I have some horror stories of some sneakers that I slept through the phone call, and I think I was sick for multiple days after. I
Mm.
think the first pair that I missed was Oregon foams, and like back in the day, I think foams were like 250 retail, and those were they might not be at that now. I have no idea what they're reselling for now, but right off the rip, they were like an $800 pair of sneakers, and I
Jeez.
was I was so sick over it. But so phone calls go through on Thursday, so there's 2 days out of your week already, and then Saturdays you had to go pick up the shoes. And if you didn't have that good relationship with a store manager, you had to be the one there with your ID to pick up your shoes. So that's 3 days out of your week to get a pair of shoes that might only turn you like $50 profit. Now, I
Jeez.
mean, if you had other people entering raffles for you, you might be able to come up on a couple more pairs. Or if you stayed at the store until they released the pairs to the public, like the people that didn't come pick up their raffles, they'd sell their shoes to the public. Then maybe you'd get lucky and get a couple more pairs and make some more money. And then it got even crazier after that because they started doing check-ins. They give you head starts whenever the apps became a thing. The
Mhm.
apps were never a thing back then. It was just raffle tickets. And so when the apps became a thing, you'd have to go to the store another day a week to check in to get your head start so you'd make sure that you were drawn for the raffle. And then there were Twitter pages that would tweet out codes, so I didn't have to do that anymore, which was nice. But yeah, and now it's all on your phone. I mean, I do so much networking on my phone. I've got a few different plugs. I'm not going to talk about who any of them are, but a couple of them in different areas that have helped me out so much. And I'm so thankful for that because my work schedule is demanding to the point where I can't be available to go to these stores to get in raffles, to go to them to even pick up. I mean, even my mom was helping me for so long because I was working every Saturday. She'd go and pick up the sneakers for me every single week, which was sweet.
Didn't your mom hit on the chunky dunks too?
That was me. That was me,
Oh,
straight up. Yeah,
I
I hit the
thought that was
chunky.
her. I thought you said that was her account. Maybe that was another pair of big shoes.
Yeah, she hit when the patent bread ones were hot, she hit 2 pairs of those early
Mm.
access, which they've gone down quite a bit, but at the moment, they were like $400 pair of sneakers, like, right
Did
at
you
the
flip
release.
them?
I think I flipped 1 pair. I might still have a pair or 2, but I don't even know how many I copped at the time, to be honest. But
That's
yeah.
kind of that's kind of something interesting. Is like you're talking about like how everything has completely changed.
Mhm.
I know you've said in the past you liked it better in the past, but
Yeah.
you had to go to all these stores and you could only get like one pair. Like when
Mhm.
everything changed, and I think you even got with like James to like bought
Mhm.
some shoes. Was it
Yeah.
better because you could do more volume then, or was it better before and easier before?
That's a great question. Um I would say it was better whenever I linked with James. James was the best point in reselling sneakers for me. He made everything so convenient for me and made everything so accessible. And I'm really sad that we've kind of got disconnected from the botting. I know like it's hard and it costs a lot of money. People don't understand like
Mhm.
people always hate on bots. I was always under the mentality like if you can't beat them, join them. So like you got to do what you got to do to cop the shoes. I mean, I'm not gonna sit around and wait on
Right.
sneakers and just pout about it. I'm gonna do what I can and get hip to the technology and try and get these sneakers. I mean, I was trying to learn bots myself, and I don't have the internet to do something like that. And I mean, I'm chilling on my LTE right now,
The
but
fact that your LTE is better than your Wi-Fi is what's funny.
yeah. I would go to the library nearby. There's a college campus nearby, and I'd go to the library. And I used to have Thursdays off, and I would set up a Google extension bot for Supreme, and I would go there and run that bot and try and cop Supreme to resell. I mean, I was trying to learn and trying to get the bots down for sneakers. It
Mhm.
was just always so hard. There's so much money in it. Like people think they know it, they don't. It's crazy how much money's tied up in it. Like
I mean,
I can't believe that James ran it for as long as he did. Not only because of the money, but how much stress he got from it.
oh yeah. I mean,
So I'm so thankful.
as much as you said earlier, like I taught you like my side of the reselling business, you like opened my eyes to hype items at that time. Like I was then
Yeah.
getting into like Supreme drops and everything, which were crazy
Mhm.
at that time. You
They were
were
sweet.
I was scratching your back, you were scratching mine.
Mhm.
Like it was just really cool because like two worlds collided and we were able to just help each other
Mhm.
learn these new areas. And you have me getting these Supreme launches. You had me entering in on all of these shoes that I didn't even know anything about. But I was like, I trust Austin. I sent you
Yeah.
some things, so that was just kind of something cool that I just thought about.
I'm sure I've given you some bad advice on sneakers too in the past. I know we've got some Yeezys that are sitting that haven't done very well in the past couple of years, but
I mean, if they don't bring him back, like I feel like with that name on it, although I saw a rumor the other day they're trying to bring him back. I don't know if that was just a complete rumor, but I feel
I
like they
think it's
both
true. I
need
feel like
each
they're
other.
trying to renegotiate.
They
I don't know.
both
I
need
might be
each
wrong.
other. He needs to make more on his shoes though than he was.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that's going to be a thing with a lot of celebrities now. All this light that's been brought to how much money can be made on sneakers if the
Mhm.
right people are willing to do a brand deal. It's going to change the game. As soon as one person takes a leap, it's changing the game.
Yeah, 100%. Hopefully that's Kyrie for your video's sakes.
And I hope so. I hope so. If nobody saw, Devlin has pretty much courtside season tickets to the Sacramento Kings, and they played the Mavs last week. And Kyrie balled out for the Mavs, and he gave his son his jersey. So that's a good sign. I mean, there's a
Oh, really
relationship
good
there at
sign.
least.
That's how far is he from Sacramento? Like, is that pretty close to San Francisco? Is that
I
like
have no idea.
I
He's
thought
in
that was
he's in the
farther
Bay
north.
Area.
I was
He's
gonna
like
say I thought that was like an hour north of there.
well, he's not in San Francisco. He's in the Bay Area.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
pretty sure I think it was like a 40-minute drive for me from the airport to where he was located.
I mean, he could just get Warriors tickets. That would be too easy though.
Oh, I mean, he has a good relationship with Steph too.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the
So
Kings are looking good this year.
yeah, the Kings are nice, dude. They really are. It's crazy.
It's random.
It is. But yeah, so sneaker game changed over the years, and I just tried to adapt to it. And then it got to the point where I was going to sneaker conventions with my friends. I mean, Alex got me into sneakers from the get go, but then Jared really kicked off with sneakers. He's still doing it too, and we would vend together at shows. I vended with Jake West a few times. He's a good friend of mine in the sneaker community.
This is a good question for you.
Yeah, no, that was insane. I was like a kid in a candy store. Even though I was on no sleep for like 3 days straight, it was insane to see to see all the samples and to see how the shoes were created from the ground up, and then just talk to somebody that I've looked up to in the sneaker world for the past 5, 6 years. It was sweet. Every minute of it, I just soaked it up, and I enjoyed being a part of it. It was great.
Anyone who hasn't seen any of his past videos or hasn't heard me talk about it, he's talking about Devlin Carter, the owner of Saya Collective, who's trying to work a deal with Kyrie to have his own shoe and partner with him. Austin flew out to San Francisco from Ohio to literally interview this guy, and that was crazy. He told that whole story on his YouTube, so you guys should go check that out. That was
Yeah,
just a really cool opportunity, and I'm so glad you got to do that. That was just
it was
that's
sweet.
insane, especially since you've like looked up to him and like know his whole story.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that was part of like what landed the interview. His team kept reaching out to him whenever I posted my first video and was like, "Yo, this dude either did his homework or like he's been watching since day one." And I mean, it was both of those things, obviously. And
Mhm.
yeah, man, I'm so blessed to have been able to do something like that. That's something I'll remember forever. And it helped my channel out a lot too. And I think honestly, whether he admits it or not, I feel like it helped I think it helped his business too, really. I mean, even just the exposure with Kyrie in general, like Kyrie talking about it in the press conference after the game, obviously helped his socials. I mean, he even said it in my video, in the interview, that he gained, I don't know, like 20 or 30,000 followers within like a few days. And man, the people and the feedback from the cross trails, not like the Kyrie basketball shoes that still nobody's
Mhm.
seen yet. Just the cross trails though in general, like all the feedback that I got from people wanting to order those was insane, dude. There's no reason that if he posts those, whether he redoes the colorway or goes ahead and releases the original ones that he made, they should go insane. It's gonna be crazy.
I think a little Maverick blue in that would look pretty cool, like a
Yeah.
little light blue and dark blue with that.
Mhm.
Oh, that
Yeah.
would be sweet.
Yeah, the sky's the limit. I mean, he could do as many colorways of those as he wants. He's done a lot of colorways of the cross trails. It's just nobody really knew what the cross trails were. I mean, a
Right.
lot of people did that supported him and were familiar with Saya, but a lot of people still look at him and say like, "Those are the Kyries." Well, I mean, it's a Kyrie like PE essentially. It's not really a Kyrie shoe. The Kyrie
Mhm.
basketball shoe is the one that he showed me in the interview, and no one's seen it yet. Which I can't wait till people see that. Hopefully, it happens. But so
Yeah, if not, you gotta leak it
yeah,
in like
yeah.
5 years.
I'd probably get in a lot of trouble. I'll text him first and get permission, but I'll leak
We
it.
I'll leak the small, like, because it was, like, on his phone, like, here, you had to, like, cover it up.
Dude, I
He
saw
looked
comments. I had to watch that back so many times to make sure the reflection wasn't in his glasses or anything, or my
uh-huh.
glasses. And I had dudes commenting on it, say that they paused and tried to screenshot and zoom in on his glasses to see the sneakers. And I was like, geez, dude, it's a good thing I watched that back like 4 times to make sure that I didn't leak them.
That would've blown up on social
Crazy.
media, just a picture of,
What the
like, his
screenshot
eyeball.
glasses? Yeah, dude. Absurd. Absurd.
That would've been funny if he should've just had, like, a pair of, like, Yeezys up on his phone and just had
Yeah.
that, like, blow up for no reason.
Yeah. That might have been good marketing, honestly. People just been like hating on it, but at the same time, all media is good media. Be like, oh my
Right.
god, talking about Yeezys. He's literally making a pair of Yeezys for Kyrie.
Yeah.
It'd be funny.
So back to you. That's kind of
Mhm.
what you've been doing the last couple years. Like, how do you
Yeah.
see your business going, like moving forward? You also have another business. Like you're talking about me, like having all these streams of income.
Hmm.
A couple years ago, you bought some storage units, and I think you're
Yeah.
looking to expand that, right? So you want to
Yeah.
talk about those a little bit? We might do a whole episode on different side hustles other than reselling. And
Yeah.
I kind of want to. I think you should make a video, honestly, on your storage units, and like you kind of touched on it in one, but
Hmm.
I don't know. That would interest me at least.
Yeah, I definitely plan on doing it. I had some projects at the building this past year that I wanted to get finished before I blasted it on socials or on YouTube. But yeah, I'm hoping this summer I get to do a cool video on that. So that's another one to look forward to. But and that'll be fun for me because that's my baby. That was my first actual business endeavor that I did beyond reselling.
Mhm.
But yeah, the as far as the shoe reselling goes, I mean, I'm pretty happy with where I was last year. I actually did some totals, and it wasn't in like the last calendar year, but I looked at my channel to see the last two big cash outs that I did, and the reason that this stemmed was because somebody asked me on Facebook, like, "Are you seriously doing six figures just on this?" And I commented back right away, and I was like, "No, not on just sneakers, but like we have a variety of side hustles. Like you should tune in."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Well, how much did I actually like gross off of sneakers?" And I looked back at my cash out videos, and like just a 10-month span from those two cash outs. I mean, that right there, one of them was 23.5, one of them was 20. I
Mhm.
had two sneaker conventions in between there that I grossed 18 and 14 at. So I mean, just right there, we're almost at like 75K, and that's not even
Yeah.
including the sales that I made on Go, StockX, eBay, or the sales that I made in person, which I'm doing those throughout the entire year. So I mean, maybe it was closer to 100K than what I realized. But and you gotta think too, the margins the margins on shoes probably aren't even as good or even close to as good as what you're doing on eBay. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
that's what I
decent.
was gonna ask. People might
Yeah,
wonder, like, are you making like 10% on that, or is it closer to
yeah,
like 30% on? He's talking about hype shoes. I sell a lot
right.
of bricks, and those obviously are gonna have higher margins. But the
Hmm.
hype shoes, he's paying retail and selling them over retail usually, unless he gets maybe a slight discount somehow.
Right. Yeah. Every once in a while, I might get plugged, but yeah, most of the time you're paying retail, and you're just allowing supply and demand and hype to build the value of a pair of sneakers. So a lot of the times, I mean, I used to do the math a lot more than I do now, and the market's down right now compared to what it was in the past year or two. But like those sneaker conventions and those cash outs, I was around 30 to 40% margin, which is pretty good. And the only reason that it was like that is because those were mostly sneakers that I had gotten for retail. I wasn't like buying in bulk and paying
Mhm.
over retail because there's a lot of times where I'll do that too. I'll pay over retail and try and find a happy medium between a little bit over retail and the resale market and try and make some money on them. But it's not uncommon for me to spend like $220 for a sneaker and only make $300 on them. You know?
And do you still sell most of yours at conventions and stuff? Do you hoard them until then, or are you
Yeah.
slinging more online than in person? That's what I thought, 'cause
Yeah.
at conventions, you're getting cash money. You're
Mhm.
probably selling them under StockX and Go, obviously, but you're not having to pay fees. You're not having to pay shipping, so you probably end up making more.
Yeah, the margins are way better that way. Plus, you're getting cash on the spot. You don't have to worry about all the logistics in between with shipping the sneakers. I mean, like I said, the first sneaker con that I went to, I sold 50 pairs. I mean, I don't think I had ever sold 50 pairs at one time. And there's so many guys that are doing this on such a larger scale than me. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I mentioned Jake before. I remember whenever he was 14 getting carted around by his parents to do sneaker deals with me for like three pairs of shoes, and now him and his partner own two sneaker stores in one of the biggest cities in the United States, and they've probably got they just now said how much inventory they had at Tuttle. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's an absurd amount of pairs of shoes. I mean, it's thousands and thousands of pairs of sneakers in their inventory, which is incredible.
Really nice looking shop too. Like, that's one of the
Yeah,
nicest looking sneaker stores.
their stores are beautiful, and that's actually one of the stores that I did my last cash out. I think I sold like 83 pairs for like 20 grand, and that was a pretty wide variety of pairs. There were some grade school sizes, some men's sizes. So I mean, if I can't get my money made at conventions or make good enough margins on the apps, I'll do bulk deals like that. Kind of like a I scratch your back, you scratch mine type of deal with the sneaker stores. Develops a good relationship with them. Plus, like Jake let me come in there and film content. I got a lot of good content the last time that I went into that store. So, I mean,
Mhm.
that's value in and of its own, which I really
We might
appreciate. He's been great to
you
me.
you think he'd be willing to come on here one time, talk about his little business and, how
I think
he
so.
scaled up basically doing what you were doing to literally running a full a full like
Yeah,
sneaker shop that's probably grossing like over $1 million a year, probably
yeah,
more. That's probably
most
shooting
definitely.
low.
Yeah, most definitely. Him or Bailey, either one. His partner likes talking more than he does. I remember whenever I did an interview with Jake on my
Uh-huh.
channel, like behind the scenes of Soul Stop, and he was nervous at first. He's like, "Man, I just really hate talking." I mean, he's like us, just getting in front of people. It's hard, but he
Yeah.
did well with the interview. I mean, he just got to break the ice, and he'd be down for it for sure. And
Yeah.
he's got
Don't
the same mindset as us, man. He just hustles and grinds. He's just trying to make as much money as possible. I mean, I remember, and he's like us too. And I don't want people to think that like we're talking about this stuff to brag. Like this is really really cool for
no.
us to be able to go back in time and see like how far we've come with these things because we work really hard at this stuff.
Hmm.
And and I'm proud of everybody. It's almost cooler for me to just like give everybody their flowers talking about it than it is to even talk about it myself. But I
Yeah,
remember seeing
exactly. That's
Jake.
why that's why I shifted to talking about yours because I was like, this just feels like I'm bragging over here, but
No,
we're
no,
just we're just telling our stories. We're just trying to inspire people, or maybe someone's in
yeah.
one of these steps that we're in right now and they don't really know where to go next. So that's
Yeah,
literally all we're doing. We're not bragging at all. We just want to share our experiences so you
yeah.
guys can learn from them.
The motivation's key too, and like surrounding yourself with motivated people that are like-minded. I mean, I remember seeing Jake's a little bit younger than me. I don't know
Mhm.
exactly how old he is now, probably 24, somewhere around there. But I remember seeing him, buy. And it's not all about material things, but buy a new vehicle, buy a second new vehicle, buy a house, and he's doing all this just on sneakers, something that was a side hustle when he was 14 years old, maybe even younger than that whenever he got started.
Mhm.
And then not only that, to develop a team and be able to pay the overhead to have sneaker stores, to be able to pay his employees really well. I mean, I mentioned this in another video, but they had a worker that had gained a management role at another store. They gifted him a Rolex one year, like just
Jeez.
crazy stuff like that to be able to give back to the community and the culture that everybody loves. I think it's
Mhm.
super sweet.
Oh, that's really awesome. Him or his partner would be really fun to have on here. So
Yeah, for
we
sure.
talked about that last week. This is the second edition. If you're just tuning in, this is all
Yeah,
about profit. It's a new live podcast, so feel free to leave any questions or anything here. And basically, Austin and I are just talking about all different types of ways to make money. We have a general topic. We get off topic quite a bit, but we're on
hmm
here for like an hour to 2 hours every time, every
yeah,
2-3 weeks. So feel free to chime in, and we'll definitely answer any questions. But
yeah,
this episode is all about how we started our six-figure businesses in our actually before our 20s, just like
yeah.
the majority of it. The majority of Uh-oh, Trent is in the house. Let's go.
Let's go. Love you,
Appreciate it,
Trent.
Trent.
And that's
Trent is
another one.
awesome.
Like, dude, all my friends, I love seeing what everybody's doing. I have so many friends doing different things for themselves, and Trent's another one of them. I mean,
Mhm.
he's been hustling and grinding. He got into the eBay stuff for a while too, and he
He was
kind of put
great
his
for a year.
he was really good. He started putting his eggs in different baskets, which is fine. Everybody
Mhm.
has to find their niche, but
Niche.
but yeah, their niche. But yeah, Trent's another like-minded individual that I've surrounded myself with, and he's kept me motivated through a lot of times. And I mean, he's gonna be doing some big things here soon, for sure.
Oh, is he?
We've
Does he have,
talked
does
about
he have
some things. I think he's ready to
I
make
think
some
we should
leaps for himself.
I think Trent needs to be on here.
Trent
Trent,
would be
would
a
you
good
be
one.
be willing to come on? And we're literally talking about all types of ways to make money on here. You just share your experiences.
He's in a sales
Even if
grind right now too with
Yeah,
cars, he's slinging cars.
he can talk about his 1 year on eBay too. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, that was he got really good. Like, he would go sourcing with us, the three of us, and he had
Mhm.
an eye for profit.
Yeah, he was crushing me on sales, like, as he just started. Like, I was already doing it for a little bit. I feel like eBay is probably one of my most, like, scaled down side hustles. I keep it manageable, but it's really good for me. It is, like, I'll I'll, um, I'll pack and ship, like, 1 or 2 days a week,
Hmm.
if my handling time allows that. Sometimes I screw up my listings. But, yeah, I'm just selling, like, a few items a week, and just that, like, if I can gross, like, $100 a week even, maybe $200
Yeah.
a week. Like that's sweet for me. It becomes passive at that point. And finding new ways to create passive income's been a goal of mine because I don't have a lot of time. I tie up my time in different areas.
So
So,
here's a question I want to ask on that.
mhm.
Um, so you work what 40 hours a week at your full time or more than that? Probably honestly, you work more than that as much as you've told me. You're
Yeah.
probably pushing like 50. You're probably not allowed to
Yeah.
say how much you work.
No, yeah, I can say how much I work. It's 5 days a week, and we're open 11 hours a day, and then there's some time around that we're doing other things. So yeah, we log anywhere from 50 to 60 hours a week.
Wow.
It's super demanding. It is. I've been doing that since 2014, so I've got 8 years under my belt, working on my ninth there, and yeah, so I'm
Wow.
finding time to do all these things outside of my time at work. And it's not like, I mean, I have a girlfriend. I still go to the gym. I still hang out with my friends and do things that I love. So that's one thing that's always bugged me. Like people saying that they don't have time to do something. Man, like make time for yourself. Get it done. Like whenever you get to the point where you're wishing for more hours in a day, like whenever you want
Mhm.
36 hours in a day because you can't get stuff done, that's whenever you don't have time. eBay
Yeah,
was
I'm to that, and I don't even have a full time. Trent's coming on, guys. Everyone's gonna get to hear his story too. That'll be awesome.
Let's go. Yeah, it is like a treasure hunt for real. It's like that with sneakers too,
Exactly.
man. I feel like such a high whenever I cop something crazy. And the same thing whenever I'm sourcing inventory in these stores and I find something. I remember one of the first times that we sourced, this will appeal to the sneakerheads too. We were at a random store and it was one of the first times that I sourced with you. I think Trent was there too. And I came up on a flipping it was a Jordan fragment like crew neck, and it wasn't even something that I had to sell on eBay. I went straight to
Yeah.
StockX and flipped it for the lowest. And I think I made like $100 on it right off the rip. Like things like that are out there.
Yeah, StockX is like the Amazon for shoes. Like you can sell things immediately. That's why like a lot of people don't want to get on Amazon, and I like eBay better than Amazon, but sometimes you got to get on Amazon and just sell the stuff fast. I wouldn't have been able to sling that many pools that year if I was not on Amazon. I can tell you that. Time
Yeah,
management, yeah, time management is key. You can do whatever you want to do. Oh, I'm glad I motivated you to go to the gym. Thanks.
dude, my motivation's been bad lately. I'm getting it back. I've been hitting the gym. I've been hitting the gym almost every day throughout the week. I took today off to do this, obviously, but man, I've been gym, lift, sauna, like every day that I've gone, which is nice. But I feel like I think I tore my rotator cuff or partially tore it, so I haven't
Ooh.
been able to push the same weight. I don't think I could throw a baseball right now if I tried. I was throwing dodgeballs at a bounce park last week, and it made it 10 times worse. My whole right side was swollen afterwards. It was not a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know how people build in time for the gym. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
It's
that's just
tough.
not been my thing.
Yeah, it's
Not
tough.
been my thing. I like to keep the dad bod rolling, you know. We're
Dude,
fine with it.
as we get older though, man, it catches up. I'm telling you, I'm gaining some fluff.
I've
I,
literally weighed and looked the exact same since like freshman year of high school.
well, I'm gonna tell you this, and it's on recording. And mark my words, when you turn 27, it's over. Good luck
Yeah,
to you,
don't you're funny because that's
dude.
in what?
I'm serious.
4 months.
All right, that's it. Trust me.
I'm done.
Hmm.
I don't even eat that much. I eat junk, but I don't eat much.
Doesn't matter. It happens like that. I said the same thing. My metabolism was crazy fast.
No,
27
I have
hit.
a slow metabolism. I already have a slow one. That's why I don't eat much. All my
Oh,
friends used to like just hammer down like 5 Big Macs, and I'm over here with my like junior
that's me.
cheeseburger. Like I'm fine with this. Not
Yeah.
that going anything at McDonald's is healthy, but like at
Oh,
least
double
I
quarter
wasn't
pounder, 10-piece nugget, and a medium fry all day long. Let's go.
little McDouble action. All right,
No,
back
double
on
quarter.
back on wait till you're 30. Oh gosh. Austin's not
Yeah.
too far from the 3-0.
Yeah. Trent just turned 30, like literally within the last month.
Oh wow. I don't know if we can have him on this podcast then because I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure this is 20s only.
Yeah. You're too old for social media now, Trent. Sorry.
Yeah, like people only want to listen to like younger people. Once we turn 30, we're just gonna stop making content because then
Yeah.
we're just adults and people don't want to listen to us.
We'll be retired old men by then.
So back on what the heck were we even talking about?
Oh,
Um
we kind of finished sneakers. Kind of. I mean,
oh,
basically,
oh Sorry, I had
Go
something
ahead.
I wanted to ask you. I wanted to
Yeah,
ask you
go ahead.
if you were to go full time,
Yeah.
how would you delegate your hours? Because I think this is a big thing that trips a lot of people up when they do
Mm.
quit their jobs and go full time. Like, how do you think you would delegate your hours throughout the day to be able to get everything accomplished? And what would you kind of like scale up in your business to be able to make that extra income up for quitting your job? Not that I'm
Yeah.
inspiring or telling people to quit their jobs. I'm just saying you've
Right.
talked about it a couple times, and I
Yeah.
think you have enough avenues of making money. You could do it.
hmm I think I could do it, but it'd be a lot harder for me to reach my goals like as fast as I want to with
Mhm.
having that cushion. I really think that learning from you and seeing what you've done with eBay, I would really, really be pressured to amp up my eBay if I were to go full time right now. Because I mean, I do have a decent eBay account. I don't make a lot of sales at all whatsoever. I don't have a lot of listings. I mean, I'm steady rolling with like 100 listings at all time. Like my eBay is minuscule compared to
So
yours.
you should sell like one thing a day.
What's that?
So you should sell like one thing every day or two, basically, with 100 listings. Is that pretty accurate?
Maybe like a few items a week. Yeah, like a few items a week, maybe 3 to 4 items a week. Um, so yeah, I would definitely amp up my eBay because I know the things now. Like I've been doing it long enough and learned
Mhm.
about what's profitable and I'm comfortable with shipping. Like I could definitely make more money on eBay. It would just take me time to scale it to the point where I could
Right.
rely on that as a full time gig. I'd probably keep doing what I'm doing with shoes. I'd be out more so I could make better connections and I could get more pairs at releases that were profitable.
Mhm.
So I mean I could do a lot more footwork on that end. I wouldn't be missing on releases as much as what I am now. See, if I miss one now, it's not a big deal because I'm still working. I mean, I get a little mad sometimes whenever I miss something, and most of the time I miss something because I'm tied up at work or with something else. So yeah, I would definitely scale up my eBay. I would stay on top of my storage units just as much as I am now, trying to keep those operating at full capacity or at least close
Mhm.
to full capacity, so that they're grossing as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, scale up eBay. More inventory, the more traffic I got, more sales. Yeah, most definitely. Inventory is everything. Adam
Oh
preaches
yeah.
that all the time, and it's the truth.
Inventory and listing consistently, like that's exactly it. Like the more inventory you have, the more you list, the more traffic you are going to get, the more they're going to push it.
hmm
It looks like his inventory is all like right behind us right now.
yeah,
Or you'll have to wait and see on MPTV Cribs
there
All
you go.
Ages Sneakers Edition. No, he can tell you where he keeps it.
There you go. Yeah, I've kept my inventory pretty spread out. I mean, it's a little bit risky to keep it all in one place. I'm not gonna lie. You might
Yeah,
feel the same way. Like if something were to happen,
I
like
have insurance. I
yeah,
have
see,
inventory insurance on mine. I don't know about you. You
yeah,
might want to look into that if you don't.
yeah. No, and my mom, and wherever else I've kept my inventory has said the same thing. And dude, it's true because I have nightmares about it sometimes. Like I mean, heaven forbid if the house caught on fire or something. Even with insurance, dude, just the amount of time that it would take to recoup everything and
Yeah.
the mental drainage too would suck so bad. I mean, hopefully nothing like that would ever happen. Yeah, I keep all of it under my bed. Yeah, people always tell me like, so I have a storage building, and people always say like, do you just keep all your inventory, your storage units? You can't keep shoes like this outside in the weather like that. My storage units aren't climate controlled, nor would I want the risk of those being like accessed by everybody. So,
Yeah, my warehouse is kind of like a giant storage unit, and I keep my bricks out there, but I'm not going to keep a
mhm,
pair of Jordans or Yeezys out there. I keep them at
yeah,
home and like climate
climate
controlled
controlled.
because
Yeah.
who knows, those things can like crack and stuff. And
hmm
most of the bricks I'm selling pretty fast, so it's not like they're out there. And what in Ohio, it's only really bad like 3, 4 months of the year where it's really cold, and it wasn't even
Yeah.
bad this year. So looks like we're in the free there, which is nice.
Right. Yeah, that is a huge thing though. I mean, obviously that's something that helped Adam expand his business, but space to store inventory.
Mhm.
Plus, like whenever you're in eBay, I mean, I keep all my eBay stuff in one room. I've just got shelves and then drawers that I keep everything in. I try and keep it somewhat clean, but man, it's easy to get chaotic. I mean, with the death piles and stuff, where you have stuff that you need to list, you definitely need space to be able to manage that inventory.
Oh, 100% space is literally the biggest key.
hmm
Besides inventory and listing daily, because if you don't have space, you can't you can't buy more inventory.
Yeah.
But something a lot of people struggle with is trying to buy too much too fast and digging themselves in a hole, trying to scale too fast. And I know you watch these YouTubers, you watch people like me and Austin that we have all this, but you don't see all the work that went behind it, which is kind of what we've talked about in this, how we've scaled up our business. That's what we've talked about this whole video. But you guys haven't seen the last like 14 years of me selling stuff. So you don't know where I started necessarily. So
Right.
you just want to have all of this inventory so you can make all of these sales, but that's not how it is. You have to start at your level. And even if you have a bunch of money, I don't recommend just buying a bunch of inventory because you learn so much on the way. There's only so much that you can learn from watching other people's YouTube videos or reading things online. Like the best way to learn this game is actually to get into it, to source, to sell, to ship, actually do it. And it becomes easier, and you are actually able to find better items that way. And you start to learn about your own bread and butters, your own categories that you actually understand, and you're able to find a lot more items and a lot more flips that way.
Yeah, you have to learn how to scale a business like this on your own. And it's like you said, it's not something that happened overnight. I can't think of any sneaker reseller that didn't start from the ground up. I mean, both of our businesses in particular, they could have started with a couple $100.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
I know plenty of people that have bought one pair of sneakers, flipped them, and then it turns into buying two, rock one, stock one, flip them later on. I mean,
Hmm.
that's the same way that I started, and then it got into I'm buying 10 and 20 clips, and then I'm buying 30 pairs at a time, and then I'm selling 50 to 100 pairs at a time. And then now I've just got so much inventory that I have the ability to wait to sell in waves whenever pairs mature and they hit the right point in the market. I'm not forced to quick flip because I have enough cash flow. I have enough inventory to make myself as profitable as possible.
I think that's something that's really separated both of our businesses is kind of like
Mhm.
we talked about earlier. Everyone right now is so focused on making that quick buck, making that
Yeah.
quick flip. And both of us have really focused our businesses on holding inventory until you can get its highest value.
Hmm.
Which in what I sell, it's lower sell through rates, it's clothing, it's hats, things that aren't going to sell as fast.
Hmm.
And some people enter into that market and they just completely tank the market to a $25 hat down to $15 so that someone buys it right away. But it's like, I'm willing to wait 6, 7 months for that to sell so I can make an extra $10. Like,
Yeah.
uh, and at $14 for a hat after fees, shipping, everything, and what you paid for it, you're probably not going to make that much. But that's another problem for another day. People don't know how to calculate profit and don't even realize they're losing money. That's literally like 50, 60% of people in this game.
Hmm. Yeah, they don't see it. They just see the money on the back end and think they're
Mhm.
making money. You definitely have to stay calculated throughout. It's the same thing with shoes, but I've said it once and I'll say it again. Like I see shoes as a really safe investment as long as you somewhat know what you're doing. I mean, there's been a few times where if I've ever taken an L on sneakers, it's something that I've bought after release and I've invested in them thinking that I'm going to hold them and they're going to go up in value. But even then, I feel like I've just maybe lost value short term, maybe long
Mhm.
term. But later on, I'll flip them and either make my money back or make more. And I mean, it's something tangible. Like you can always, even right off the rip, if you buy a new release, you can take them back to the store and get your money back. Like there's a very very low amount of risk there. Same thing with eBay. A lot of these stores that you're buying stuff from, there's return policies. Now, I wouldn't suggest like
No.
buying inventory and only holding it for 30 days and returning it and just folding your hand because, like you said, I mean, I have hats that I sourced. Probably one of my best sourcing trips yet. I think I bought like 100 or 200 hats from the same store. All these small college teams. I sell like 1 to 2 of those hats every single week, and
Yeah.
it's an easy $5 to $10 bill for me. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it adds up. It's passive income almost.
Yeah, and you don't wanna run your business, like, having to focus on how, "Oh, I gotta sell this within 30 days, and then I gotta return it." Like, you're never gonna make any money that way. You're never going to learn that way. Like, you have to know what's a good buy and what's not. My Discord is
Yeah.
just going off. We're gonna close that off. Alright, there we go. Didn't wanna close out the StreamYard, but you're never gonna make any money on that way. Like, it's fine to do that with, like, seasonal items if you have some left
Mhm.
after Halloween and Christmas or whatever, which usually I don't have much left. And I'm gonna buy up that clearance that's left that people have maybe returned. But you don't want to focus on just trying to return everything. I think that's another big problem a lot of people have, especially when they get into retail and online, is they just think they can buy whatever they want. And if it doesn't sell within 30 days, I'm going to take it back. Well, that's going to get old real quick. You're going to make a
Mhm.
lot of bad buys, probably miss the return windows, and you would have been better just to figure out if it was a good long-term buy or not. Not everything is going to sell right away, and you need to learn that. Inventory is such key in this game.
Yeah, I think it should almost be looked at as a blessing if you don't sell things right away,
Mhm.
because then you're gaining that inventory to have a more reputable account in the long term. Reselling shoes. Oh, this has changed so much, really. I mean, whenever I started, I was always buying my size, right? Because buying your size, you can never lose. If it's something that a lot of people don't want and you don't think you can sell it, you can always wear it. Then you got a pair for yourself and you're on rotation. Um,
Right.
but you really have to study. You have to study the stock levels. I mean, there's some times where you might get lucky and you can find the quantity of each size that's releasing, or at least on like specific retailers, whether that be Foot Locker or maybe on Nike in general.
Mhm.
And then you can kind of push towards that area and buy a certain size. But I don't play too much into that really. Back whenever I started, it didn't matter what size you copped, the local price was what shoes sold for. So I
Yeah.
mean, there's some things that I might play into it a little bit, but for the most part, I'm just copping the most common sizes, somewhere between 8 to 13, but even more specifically, maybe 9 to 11. They're the most common sizes. Those might not be the most profitable all the time, but those are the sizes that most people wear. So you have more of a market there.
This question is about if I get sick, will I not be able to ship items? It
Mm,
does happen. I'm human. I do get sick sometimes, but I'll just throw my store on vacation mode. So really not that big of a deal. You can throw your store on vacation mode up to like 30 days. And I hope I don't have any procedures of an emergency. If that did happen, I've got family members that know how to throw it on vacation mode and could honestly even ship for me. There's a lot of people that do eBay around me. Austin could even go out to my warehouse and
yeah.
could ship things
Okay.
for me. I mean, everything's pretty well labeled where everything is. So
Yeah.
someone could do it in case of an emergency. But honestly, like if I was in the hospital, that's probably the last thing I'd worry about. I would just say, someone throw my store on vacation mode, or they would know to do that. And if the sales don't go out, then oh well, I lose top rated for a month or two. And I think I'll figure it out after I get out of the hospital. That would be I don't really think about things like that. I think a lot of people get a lot of stuff like that from, I mean, I don't want to call it any names, but Daily Refinement. He's kind of made eBay like he makes everyone think that they have to run like a multi-billion dollar like eBay store and they need to have all these things in place. And it's like, I probably
It's
shouldn't
not
even
that
be
serious, but
calling.
it
Yeah,
is.
it's not that hard. You just like buy things and sell them for more on eBay and then worry
Mm,
about things when they come. Like people are so worried about getting V rows and stuff like that and trying to prevent it. Like just sell items till you get a V-Row and then don't list that brand again. It's not that big a deal.
yeah.
The only time you get in trouble with a V-Row is if you get what is no, the only time you get in trouble with a V-Row is if the same company pulls the same item more than once. So if they pull it like once, they'll give you a warning. They pull it again, they give you a warning. They pull another item in that same brand, they give you a 3-day, then a 7-day, then a 30-day, and then boom, you're off eBay. Like
Yeah.
there's so many warnings, just don't move that brand on there anymore. But I
Yeah.
don't want to call anyone out. I guess I kind of just did. But some people just make it's not even just him. Like some people just make eBay like so difficult and acting
Mhm.
like you have to run a multi-million dollar business. And that's just not the case. Like I, I don't want to have to manage someone, manage an employee, pay an employee. I feel like I would make even less money if I did that and get less done because I would just be micromanaging someone. So
Right.
personally, I will probably always just work for myself. I obviously have a partnership with Hayden for the Discord group, but neither of us is the owner and bossing the other one around. Like we both just get things done.
Yeah. I think you have a good mindset on like the whole eBay thing too. Like you don't treat it like, I mean, you treat it like a business per se,
Mhm.
but it's always been like a hustle. You're just trying to make
Yeah.
money. That's all it's about. And I feel like that mindset's going to be more successful in the long run. You can't take everything too seriously. It's the same thing with me for sneakers. Like I'm not well, I have a full-time job, but I'm not pressed if something doesn't go my way. You know what I mean? I'm never going to slow
Mhm.
down the hustle, and and I'm always going to try and make as much money as possible. But at the end of the day, like, you have to enjoy it too. You shouldn't be getting into, I don't think you should be getting into eBay if it's not something that you can enjoy, or sneakers if it's not something you can enjoy. That's the whole reason why we got into these things in the first place.
No, and exactly. And I'm such a small fish. Like even at only $300,000 a year, like selling, like that doesn't seem like I need to hire an employee and telling other people to hire employees when they're at like 50,000 in sales. Like I just feel like people are going to end up just losing money. Like just buy things low and sell them high. It's not it's not that
Yep.
difficult. I think that's really why I created my channel, because I saw a lot of reseller YouTubers. Again, not trying to start any beef with someone, but maybe if it did,
Dropping
maybe my channel will blow up a little bit.
it.
I'm
Dropping
just
it.
kidding. Not trying to start any beef with anyone, but that's actually why I created my channel. I saw all these other resellers like spewing all this stuff, and I was like, it's not that difficult, people. So I just wanted to try to make it simple for people. Hopefully, my eBay and Amazon for beginners videos, like I've gotten a lot of comments on that saying like your 15-minute beginner video was just better than the hour and 30-minute one. Like I try to just be as straight to the point and just talk about my experiences, talk about literally all you need to know. And it's really not that difficult.
Yeah. Any more questions?
No more questions. I guess me firing shots at people might
Love it.
have.
Love
We're
it.
what, hour 45 in?
Yeah, that's decent. We
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. The only thing that we didn't really touch on from my standpoint was probably storage, which we could save that and talk about that more in another discussion, or I could touch on it
Yeah.
briefly. Um,
You can give us a little taste.
yes, I mean, so whenever I was in college, I mean, I always knew that I wanted to get into some sort of business for myself. Reselling was always a passion, but like I said, I had so much time wrapped up in these other side hustles that I didn't have a lot of time to take on something else. I looked at
Mhm.
duplexes. A lot of people, talk about single family home rentals or duplexes or multi-unit properties, and I looked at a lot of those. Like, I really wanted to get into duplexes, and every time I went and looked at one, I talked myself out of it, man. People trash them, and I couldn't get myself to buy something like that and just have somebody totally obliterate it. Not that all renters are like that, but a lot of the
Right.
things that I could afford at the time would have been like that. I would have had to have put a lot of time and money into them to be something that I was proud of owning.
Hmm.
So the storage units really appealed to me. The guy that I work for has a lot of storage units, and I've learned a little bit about the business up until that point. And yeah, one finally came on the market, and it was at a bad time that it came on the market, right before disaster struck with what. And
You know
everybody
what?
was yeah. I don't want to
I'm not
get
trying to get this video pulled down.
yeah. I don't want to get too touchy of a subject going on there, but yeah, but at that time, like, all my mentors per se were telling me, like, hold on to your money, and it scared me at first, but so I mean, I did just that. I put an offer in on a self storage building, and it didn't get accepted. There were multiple offers on it, and it sold. And so I just kind of moved on. Thought I was going to stack cash and get into something later on, whether that be a duplex or storage units or buy some
Hmm.
land somewhere. And the person that had bought those, it ended up being something that they didn't want to get into. I feel like they were in like a different area of real estate, and maybe they just finally found out that they didn't want to get into storage units. So I reached out to them, and they ended up selling it to me without putting it back on the market, which was great. So I had a second opportunity at a property that I missed, which is like unheard of. Normally, you can't come up on a set of storage units until somebody's like ready to die. They're just so low maintenance that no one ever
Right.
wants to get rid of them. They keep them forever.
You're
So
making more than you're putting out. So it's just like easy
yeah,
money.
yeah, most definitely. Especially when it comes to the physical work. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's been times where I've put a lot of time into clearing out some of these units whenever people decide not to pay their bills. But I mean, all in all, like, I wish that I hadn't listened to some of my mentors as closely as I did
Mm.
beforehand, because right after that property sold out from under me, man, I just had like this feeling in my gut that I missed an opportunity. And then after that point, I was like, man, I can't miss any opportunities. And I've always lived my life by that. Like, I don't want to miss an opportunity ever. I want to
Hmm.
create opportunities for myself and execute on them. So whenever that property came back, I was like, there's no way I'm not making this work. So, I mean, I did everything I needed to on the back end and got it to work. And man, like as soon as you get a year under your belt, something like that, you're looking for the next one. And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
so hungry for another property, and I'm hoping that I get to expand that here soon. But it's a great source of passive income. I've
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
much just in the last bought it in 2020, I believe. I closed in the end of 2020, so we're just over 2 years in, and I think I've already made my down payment back, and I put a sizable down payment on the building. I mean that own business account, it grows itself, which is great. I mean, it's no
Yeah.
secret to anybody. I mean, it's all public info, like what I paid for it and everything. But yeah, I'm so happy with that purchase, and I'd do it again and again.
No, that's awesome. I hope you're able to find some more because once you do one, like you're able to hopefully just duplicate that.
Yeah,
Do you ever
I feel
lose a lot of money? A
like
bad
1 to 2 is
purchase.
probably tough whenever it comes to something like that, even like rentals. But after you get
Yeah.
a decent sized portfolio, that's whenever the serious cash flow starts coming in.
Oh yeah, I've definitely lost money on bad purchases. Most of my bad purchases now though are usually just like break even.
Hmm.
But one thing I've always tried to tell people is, especially when you are starting, like have a number in place that like if you're doing retail or online, um, only buy like two or three of an item if you're starting out, and that limits your risk. I've raised that personally now to like 10 or 20 just because I have more capital. So I can be a little riskier unless I know it's an absolute home run and I can take stock on, for example, there were these New York Mets hats, called them out to the group, New Era New York Mets hats for $5 from Nordstrom Rack. Let the group eat them up for about 20 minutes. And then I was like, all right, anyone else need any more? And no one said anything. So I took stock 350 New York Mets hats. I
Ooh,
was the only one that had an Amazon listing for those. And I moved them all in 6 months at $30 a pop. So that was about like 10 grand there in all of those hats. But I definitely would not have gone all in if I knew I couldn't buy them all because you never know who's going to find something like that and possibly ruin the entire market.
right.
And I had
Paper.
searched elsewhere to make sure those weren't that exact hat wasn't available somewhere else so that could get ruined. Still was a really risky purchase because what, 5 times 350, I put out about 16 grand for, or 1600, not 16 grand. Brought in like over 10 grand, I think, around there. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a risky purchase. I guess that kind of got off track. But yes, I have I have lost money, and I'm sure Austin has lost money on shoes as well. But
Yeah.
just limit your risk. That's all I can advise.
Definitely limit your risk. And whenever you do get into it and you get comfortable with things, don't get too complacent.
Mhm.
I feel like some of my biggest L's have came like later on whenever I was like too comfortable with purchasing things. And it wasn't even just shoes, just like some resale items. Like I'd buy it thinking it was a guaranteed flip, and then maybe I'd kick around and wait too long. Time is of an essence too. Like you gotta time out some of your listings, right? Especially on hype items. I shouldn't say that
Yeah,
with like the inventory building stuff, like hats and clothes and stuff. Build that inventory, keep it. It's always going to sell.
yeah, get it
But
up
some of
as
the
soon as
stuff
you
that
can.
has like those just for example, I have no idea what the market is on these right now, or if I'm even pronouncing the name right. But those, I think they're like mischief. Those red boots that everybody's going crazy
Oh
about.
gosh, yeah.
Okay, that's not something. Just from experience, I could be totally wrong, but that's not something that you want to buy and hold for 6 months and then decide to list it. You want to
Mm-mm.
flip that right now because I'm telling you that is not going to be in style forever. That's something new. It's something totally innovative. It might come back in a few years, but that's not something that's going to have value all the time. So some things are like very time sensitive, and
Mhm.
that's where I've gotten bit. Like things that I've bought, and I'm like, oh, we're good. Like I can chill for a month or two, and then list that, and it comes back and bites you.
Did you get any of those red boots?
No, I don't. I think they dropped. I don't know if they even dropped. They're like
They
350
did. I
retail.
tried. They
Did you?
sold out. Yeah, that
Yeah, I'm
app was
sure.
awful. But like
Yeah.
they Mischief's been known to like restock a lot and make things like not
Mm.
limited that were supposed to, like those Aircast ones. Like I don't know who was buying those in the first place, but like you can buy those directly on the site. Like I think they're just made to order.
Yeah. Yeah, they could be doing the same thing here, which would be a good move for them, though. I mean, if you're a one
Oh
hit
yeah,
wonder like that, and you can sell a million pairs of those, do it.
yeah. I will always thank Jesus because He's given me everything that I have, and I owe everything to Him. So I've had some negative comments on that, obviously, and I've also had people say like, "You're only thanking Jesus to gain followers." I'm like, isn't that like the complete opposite? I'm pretty sure there's a lot more Jesus haters than Jesus lovers anymore in
I
this
don't
world.
I
And
don't
it's
think you
like
have
I
anything
feel
to
like
gain
that
by
deters a
that.
lot of people. I'm
Yeah, I
just
don't.
trying to I'm just trying to spread his love in a different way. Like I know I talk about making money and money is the root of all evils, but I'm just trying to spread love, spread Jesus's love and hopefully help people make some money to make their lives a little better along the way.
Yeah, I don't know how you would have anything to gain by doing that. In a sense of numbers, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't be saying that just to say it to get on people's good side. Like obviously that means something to you. I hate when people comment stuff like that. Not that question,
Yeah,
but
like
comments on your videos like people hating on that. That's
I
ridiculous.
know, like that's my faith. That's what I put everything in. That's what I believe. Like if you don't want to believe it, fine. But
Yeah. You,
that's what I believe and I'm here to stand by it and promote it.
yeah, most definitely. You have every right to do so. That's why you have the platform that you do. I think it's dope. So yeah, I mean, pretty much we both have plenty of different varieties of side hustles that we've just scaled over the years, man. I mean, mine started out so small. I had like a 10 to 20 pair rotation, and now I'm always like I have a 100 to 300 pairs like at all times, depending on how I'm selling in waves, which is crazy. And your eBay inventory has grown immensely.
Yeah, I'm doing my inventory right now for taxes. I think I have over not what I've spent in it, over like the value. I'm over like 250K in like inventory value right now, which is don't rob me or I'm gonna have to use the insurance.
Yeah,
I've
dude,
tried
that's
not
the
to
thing.
show the outside of my warehouse at all so people don't know where I'm at. Not
That's the
to
thing too, though. Like, if somebody tried to rob you, do you know how long it would take them to actually, you know what I
and I have
mean?
security cameras too,
Yeah,
so good luck with that.
you need 6 U-Hauls, about 12 hours, and yeah, good luck.
Yeah, that took me a good like took us a whole family of like eight of us. It took us like all day to get everything out there. Like that was a freaking nightmare to try to get everything sorted. I didn't know where anything was at that like first month because like down in the basement, I knew where everything was. I could go right to it. Once it gets out to a new place, even though it's in the same tubs and everything, it's just like I don't know where anything is now.
Yeah. So what advice do you have for somebody who is close to our age? Doesn't even matter how old they are, honestly. I feel like some people that are like middle aged are maybe less likely to take a leap towards something like this. But I don't really think it
Mhm.
matters when you start something like this.
Mm-mm.
So, what advice would you have to a person who is trying to make a six-figure business for themselves,
Starting from scratch.
starting from scratch? Somebody comes up to you and they're like, "Adam, I want to start a six-figure business. What advice do you have for me?"
Reselling or like any business in general? Because I'm pretty clueless outside of like reselling and that type of stuff.
Anything, but I guess more so towards reselling. Yeah.
Yeah, that I wish I could help someone like with any business, but where I'm
Yeah.
knowledgeable in is reselling. And I might sound like a broken record from some of my old videos, but
Mhm.
literally the best way to start at this and to build capital is by just selling things from around your house. This will
Mhm.
teach you how to list, it'll teach you how to look up comps, it'll teach you how to price these items, and you don't even have to source. You're getting it for free. It's stuff you weren't using anymore. Don't start selling like brothers and sisters stuff and parents stuff. Like sell stuff no one uses anymore. Tell other people what you do and you'll be surprised that people will literally bring you inventory, stuff they were going to donate or stuff that there's some high end stuff. I've had people like had me sell their luxury purses and I just split the profits with them. Like it's
Mhm.
amazing when you tell people what you do, what can get done. And don't try to scale up too fast. Like this game takes time. It would take years to scale up from scratch to a full time in reselling. I mean, you just heard me say I have like 250K in valued inventory right now. Like, and you guys see me sell like $2,000 a weekend. That's 1% of my inventory about every single weekend. If you want to make those kind of numbers, you need to have all that inventory and you also need to learn along the way. So that's why selling things from around your house is a great way to start. Then next you want to go to the thrift stores and also the garage sales and estate sales, places like that, that you can get cheap inventory. And this is where you're going to learn how to source, since you already learned how to list, ship, price. So now you are able to source cheaply. I do not recommend getting into online or retail arbitrage right away, even if you have money, because, like I said earlier, you can definitely get burned there if you don't know what you're doing. But if you start in these places to get cheaper inventory, then you can really teach yourself how to find those deals. And you can also build a bread and butter of your own as well, in an area of expertise that you know and that you're knowledgeable about. And then after all that, after you've done that for probably a year or two, if you have some capital and you're ready to dip your toe into retail or online, then that is where you can really scale your business with volume. But again, some people run six-figure businesses with just selling used crap, selling stuff from
Mhm.
thrift stores, selling people's old clothes that they literally just tell people what they're doing and they get it donated to them, finding things on Facebook Marketplace. There's millions of ways to make money just in reselling.
Mhm. Most definitely. So what do you think? What do you think your goal is for 2023 if you were to speak it into existence? Maybe we can both share our goals right now for 2023 as business owners, as resellers, what have you.
Yeah, so uh, as for reselling, I'd like to do 300K again in gross sales. It'll be third year, I believe, in a row. But I want to raise my margins over 50%. I was around like 40% ish last year. If I could get up to like 60%, that would be even better. So that's a big goal. So make the same amount, but actually make more profit. Um, I got some goals for Discord as well. I want to be able to get up. We're not releasing our cap number, but trust me, we're getting there. When we raise the rate to $50, we're getting
Getting
close
close.
to the cap mark. But I'd love to be able to cap the group by the end of this year. Obviously, we have to get up to that number that we've been trying to strive for. So that would be a really cool goal to do on Discord. Now, what about you? What's your goals?
Mm. Yeah, see, I asked you this question before I thought of my answer. Um, no, I really want to expand. I want to expand my storage business first and foremost. I have an idea of how I can expand it. I've actually got a couple different opportunities right now, so that'd be my ultimate goal by the end of the year. But then beyond that, I want to do. I mean, I feel like this year altogether, I did over $100,000 inside hustles, gross, um, full time job aside. I would like to bring everything together and try and make closer to 250 this year. I think that'd be sweet. Obviously,
Yeah.
not all profit, all net, but yeah, I think that's a good goal of mine. Quarter million, that'd be sweet.
That'd be awesome. Then who
Yeah,
knows what you can do the year after that. I mean, it's crazy how much you learn like year to year in all of these different little side hustles.
yeah, and it's people look at things and they're like, here's another thing to think about too. Like, just because we make that money in sales doesn't mean we have all of that money liquid. Like,
Right.
people are
People
like,
don't
oh,
understand that.
yeah,
But it
like, what
also
are you
doesn't mean
doing?
like, even if you say like you're making 40% on 300,000, like that's not even taking out like lots of the other write-offs. It doesn't even mean you're paying
Right,
taxes on all that. I've get tons of questions on this. Make sure you get a CPA. If you're really deep into this game, they'll help
yeah,
save you so much money and things to write off like legally. Like you're not writing off random crap. Like
right.
you need to
Yeah,
get someone who's a tax professional who can help explain to you like what you can write off, and you run your life as a business.
I want to make that a goal of mine too in 2023. I want to not force but convince some people to take a leap and maybe even just start with an eBay. I've suggested to like all of my peers to at least start reselling something on eBay. If you can do over $600 in a year, that opens you for like a tax incentive essentially. You can learn how to run a business after
Mhm.
$600 in sales on eBay. I feel like it's great experience whether you actually make money to go towards anything or not. Like just do it and try it, and it might be something that you love.
And I think that's something that's so much fun for people that are selling on the side or like just starting out, is like you really are running your own little business and literally
Mhm.
anyone can do it. And like I just said a couple minutes ago, the startup costs are nothing. You sign up for an eBay account, you start listing stuff that you don't use anymore. And who knows what it might flourish into.
Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, I would like to include that. in my goals too. Help some people start something, expand my own, and make more money, and be
Exactly.
happy along the way. Try and free up
Yeah.
some more time, man. Like maybe put my eggs in similar baskets instead of spread them all out, you know.
Hmm.
And maybe that'll help me. That right there might be the decision that makes me hit my goal in cash overall.
It's a
Um,
mindset.
yeah, most definitely. But I don't know. You think we
I think
wrap
we
it
should.
up?
I think we wrap it up.
If you
Appreciate everyone who has watched us. You can check out Austin's channel down below. First link in the description. Um, really appreciate it, guys. This has been episode 2 of All About Profit.
yes, thank you for watching.